consciousness, 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 consciousness. Your body feels like it's asleep, but your mind is fully conscious. Astral projection, astral projection. Your body feels like it's asleep, but your mind is fully conscious. Astral projection, astral projection.
People are narcissistic in this field. People are narcissistic in this field.
What are they? Why are they? 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 It's enough, 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 it's enough. Why are they? Why are they?
Arrow has found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, off-world technology. No credible evidence, no credible evidence, no credible evidence, no credible evidence of extraterrestrial activity. Arrow has found no credible evidence thus far of extraterrestrial activity, off-world technology. No credible evidence, no credible evidence, no credible evidence, no credible evidence of extraterrestrial activity.
Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and whistleblower David Grush. Arrow found no evidence
Of extraterrestrial activity.
Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and whistleblower David Grush. Arrow found no evidence
Of extraterrestrial activity.
Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and whistleblower David Grush. Arrow found no evidence
Of extraterrestrial activity.
Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick and whistleblower David Grush. Arrow found no evidence
Of extraterrestrial activity.
Most sightings were ordinary objects. Trust me, bro, it's all a conspiracy. Don't worry about the evidence. The Pentagon has your back. The Pentagon has your back. Most sightings were ordinary objects. Trust me, bro, it's all a conspiracy. Don't worry about the evidence. The Pentagon has your back. The Pentagon has your back. How un-American it is.
Why are they?
How un-American it is. How un-American it is.
Why are they?
How un-American it is. Alright, alright. Alright, alright. Alright, alright. Alright, alright. It is. It is. It is. It is.
All these ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. That account, I believe, is real. I've watched it for a long time, and he says a lot of really provocative stuff there that has definitely caught my attention on many, many occasions. I've heard this briefing many times. Incredibly, incredibly sad, but probably a lot more than just what it looks like on the surface. If you don't really see what's going on here, this might not make sense.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. I can't believe we're here again already, because it appears that the person that I believe is one of the world's laziest conspiracy land New Age grifters actually worked for a few hours last week. We have detailed in the past, this guy takes 2 months off at a time and cries the blues about not having any money. There was a time when he was active. He would be grifting 3 times a week. Now it's like, well, I just don't feel like working. I'm hanging out in my mansion, crying about the $1.4 million tax bill that I expect my followers to buy my crap and pay for me. Somebody needs to explain to me how he just forgot to pay $1.4 or $1.5 million worth of income taxes. But this is no surprise, because David Wilcock has a long list of, let's just say, less than ethical, shady business practices. There was, after all, Convergence Pictures, LLC, in which he collected investor money to make a film and, to my knowledge, never made the film. There is some sources of people that invested with that business venture that weren't too happy on Avalon forums, but I do not know if he ever gave the investors their money back. What I do know is that he collected investor money for something called Convergence Pictures LLC. This is years ago. One of the many long lists. There's a long list of shady business dealings with this guy. Did he ever give the investors their money back? I don't know. But I do know that this business venture of his, Convergence Pictures LLC, never made a film and went belly up. So who knows? Then, of course, there was the the GoFundMe donation scam for his fake insider, Pete Peterson. in which the UFO and I guess conspiracy land community was completely and totally defrauded out of $60,000. The entire text body that was written in the GoFundMe was provably lies and falsehoods. What happened to that $60,000? According to David Wilcock, he gave it to Mr. Pete Peterson, who was involved in his own bunch of swindles and scams, including a pump and dump technology stock scam and other things. Then we get to the Emery Smith PayPal donation scam, in which David Wilcock claimed that Emery Smith was under deep state attack. His girlfriend's father later revealed on a public YouTube channel that the only attack Emery Smith was under is an attack by a vodka bottle. He was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning and a car wreck, not because the deep state was attacking him for releasing alien information. And then there was, of course, the David Wilcock Spiritual Foundation charity, I'm calling it a scam, in which he collected over $100,000 and did almost no charitable work. Did no charitable work that we could see. He gave a little bit of the money that he collected to some other charities, to my knowledge. But I think we worked it out before that it was about a nickel on the dollar. So there's all kinds. And then, of course, the latest is the Stevati Aerospace, which has been called Stevati Aerospace. David Wilcock's supposed to be the director of, what is he? The director of exotic technology. Also on that same company board is a person I am intimately familiar with, who ran what many would describe as the Commodore Amiga scam. You remember after Commodore and Amiga went bankrupt, somebody bought the rights to Amiga and promised for a decade that they were going to build new computers, and they never really did. But they did manage to defraud the developers that developed an entire new Amiga PPC-based operating system out of the money that he owed them. This man was named Bill McEwen. That's how I instantly knew that David Wilcock's shady aerospace company was most likely a scam, because he's literally got people that ran things like that on the board. And there's new information coming in. Apparently, Stevati Aerospace, which we have described previously as being, they got sued, and in the lawsuit, the investor who invested something like $1 million alleges in the lawsuit that Stevati Aerospace is a, quote, investment scheme or scam and Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme and investment scam. That's what it was called in court documents. And that investor who invested $1 million wants his money back, so he sued David Wilcock's shady aerospace company. Then all the creditors, there's a bunch of creditors that they got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work done on their facility, and they just didn't pay anybody. Great. And of course, David Wilcock promised almost 2 years ago that they would have a working hovercar prototype in a year. So far, all he showed was 3D printed, what looked like 3D printed G.I. Joe toys. I'm sorry, I grew up with G.I. Joe. Real nice high-tech models of airplanes and spaceships and shit, but it looks like a G.I. Joe toy. It looks like a Cobra G.I. Joe toy, right? So this is just, it's hysterical to me that this guy has been involved in all of these shady business dealings and people are still giving him money. And the latest, of course, is that he's begging followers to buy his latest crap, which, by the way, is $333, just like all the other $333, what I believe to be scams, where he's selling people courses on ascension. Show me how many people ascended from David Wilcock's ascension courses. No, none. Nobody ascended. So do you just pay this guy $333 for his latest crop of bullshit? Because that is apparently what's happening. His newest crop of bullshit is that now, instead of channeling the Egyptian god Ra or pretending to be Edgar Casey reincarnated, now he's claiming that he's channeling the Archangel Michael. But we have covered this in explicit detail. There's something called the test of a prophet, a biblical rule, really, that proves that David Wilcock is not in contact with the Archangel Michael, because if the divine, so-called divine or angelic information given to a prophet is ever wrong, even once, that's not coming from a divine or angelic source. This is a biblical rule. So he cannot be speaking to the Archangel Michael, because he was already wrong in his first book, claiming that Corey Good's information was accurate. And Corey Good testified under oath that he just made shit up. It's all from his imagination. It's his intellectual property, and that he'd never been to space. Why would an angel lie to David Wilcock and say, yeah, Corey Good's information is accurate? The truth is they wouldn't. And this is just another in a long line of false information, fake information, disinformation, and worthless nonsense that this man sells. But interestingly, we do have breaking news about David Wilcock and the shady aerospace company. They are now in default judgment. Ferguson Electric, who was one of their creditors, they didn't pay over $100,000 in owed money and $20,000 in interest. So the court entered a damages balance of $122,000 and some change. So this is a default judgment. This is entered because David Wilcock, for all of his promises, his lofty promises, we're gonna create a hover car with a free energy engine. You won't even need to put any fuel in it. You could power your whole house from it. Despite his many claims of his company somehow being in possession of all of this exotic technology, they don't even have any money, apparently, or allegedly, I guess. They don't have any money to hire a lawyer. They stiffed this electric company for over $100,000. They did work on their facility, and then they didn't pay them. And then they get sued in the state of New York by the creditor, the company that did all the electrical work, and they don't even answer the lawsuit. They don't hire a lawyer. They don't defend the lawsuit. So the court apparently has awarded to the plaintiff, the electric company, suing them for over $100,000, a default judgment. And by the way, this is just the first in what may prove to be a long line of default judgments, because there's multiple creditors suing David Wilcock's shady, shitty aerospace company for not paying their bills. So, really, friends, what we have here is David Wilcock lives in a fantasy land, okay? He lives in a fantasy land, and we have detailed this before. David Wilcock has some kind of, I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know, but, I took some psychology courses in college. It appears to me that David Wilcock has some kind of horrible narcissistic personality disorder, but that's just my opinion. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing him, but I've been observing him for a few years now, doing these reports and investigating him. So I think that's fine for me to speculate. It's an informed, speculated opinion, because David Wilcock has an extremely bloated sense of self-importance. Remember, we've heard him talk about how he can't sit in a hotel lobby because people would bother him because he's so famous. I'm here to tell you, unless you're a big Ancient Aliens fan, nobody, go ask 10 of your friends and relatives that aren't into this shit who David Wilcock is. Nobody will know, right? But he's got this insane bloated sense of self-importance. And he thinks that he's Earth's greatest prophet, and he's smarter than Einstein, once saying that he had an IQ of 180, right? He's got nothing. He lives in a delusional fantasy world where he's someone important. He's got everything in his life is a fake fantasy land. He's got fake government insiders. He's getting fake briefings from generals and, high-ranking government officials. He's got his fake technology claims, claiming that he's going to be the father of anti-gravity. He's got fake claims about being a prophet or Earth's greatest prophet. He's got fake claims of being in contact with angels or the Archangel Michael. That can't be, because his information has already been wrong that he already put in the books. And by the way, don't try to change it now, David Wilcock, because somebody gifted me an early copy of your first of 7 books of nonsense called the Michael prophecies. And of course, then he's got his fake government insiders like Pete Peterson. Complete and total fraud. Wasn't who he said he was. His education was fake. Didn't work where he said he worked. Then he's got other fake space insiders, like Bill Brockbrader that he interviewed and used for material. That guy was a court-martialed child molester. So a fake insider that can't get any work, so he decides to just, help the grifters sell some fake stories for some cash. Then, of course, we have David Wilcock spending, more than 8 years grifting with Corey Good's Secret Space Clown. He and that guy made money from completely and totally. We know now, due to court testimony, that Corey Good's testimony was fake. He'd never even been to space. So David Wilcock made money for 8 years off the back of fake secret space claims with a literal fake secret space LARPing clown who told fake stories for money. This is David Wilcock's history. And then, of course, add to that fake claims that we're all getting superpowers in the year 2000. Fake claims in the year 2012 we're all getting superpowers. And now he's recycling those claims again. And, of course, those fake claims of 3 days of darkness, an internet outage, mass arrests. And then, of course, David Wilcock jumped on the Q-tard train. He even mentions that somebody talked about Q-tards in this recent stream. I'm pretty sure he's talking about me. We put Q-tard on one of our last graphics covering the wacky world of Wilcock. Then, of course, he's got fake insider information. He's got fake prophetic information. And, of course, he's got another fake insider that he called Ben, which is the CEO of Stevati Aerospace. And he's lying through his teeth behind a paywall, both of them, claiming that the CEO of his shady aerospace company built hundreds of spaceships for the real secret space program. And that this CEO was a close associate of his insider, Pete Peterson, who we have completely and totally busted as a complete total fraud. It's like a circle jerk of fraud, fakery, forgery, and nonsense. It's like a slow motion car wreck too. I don't know. I can't look away. And now, if you haven't noticed, look, I'm surrounded by stupid. This guy is toxic. How many millions of dollars is the government going to allow this guy to defraud from people with absolute, there reaches a point where you say, this is probably criminal. This is consumer fraud. Oh, I have real government insiders. No, you don't. They're all fake and I can prove it. Oh, I have a secret space insider. Well, according to court records, that guy just made stories up and he'd never even been to space. What happened to all the money you grifted off the secret space LARP? Where's all that money? Oh, no, I'm $1.5 million behind in my taxes and I need everybody to buy my shit. No, you don't get to do that anymore. No. Time for some people to get up off their ass and get a real job, right? Do something of value. This guy does nothing but make up shit, connect a bunch of nonsense. We're going to see tonight. Wait till you see. And he's back to Q-tard stuff. He's so desperate for material. Hey, maybe you didn't get the memo, David Wilcock. All the Q-tard stuff was fake. And everybody knows it. Anybody with a brain knows it. Is anybody even still holding on to the Q-grift nonsense? But David Wilcock is, and where you see the sources of his wonderful insider information. He's literally just taking screenshots from Q-tards on Telegram. That's his material now. It is ridiculous. All right, so we're going to take a moment to welcome in the live chat, whether you're chatting in the Rumble chat, in the Twitch chat, in the Facebook live feeds. There's 2 of them. In the Twitter feed, in the Instagram live feed, or the Rumble feed, or the YouTube feed, wherever you're here. We're glad you're here. Let's get into it, friends. We want to thank some kind and generous people. High Speed Chase, who's also a member with a kind and generous $2 super chat says, David Wilcock reminds me of a coked out beaver. You said it, not me. High speed chase. Again, another thank you for being a member. Another $2 says it's a circle jerk of Wookiee spankers. I could see David Wilcock trying to spank off a Wookiee. I could see it. I don't know why in my sick mind do I think that he would give a handy to a Wookiee. But if anybody would give a handy to a Wookiee, it's Corey Good or David Wilcock. By the way, somebody is reporting on Twitter. I'm not reporting it. It's John Spadavaccia. And he mentions that Corey Good, this will show you, like, the grift is coming crashing down. The whole secret space nonsense, that's over. And isn't it interesting, friends, that if you want to be a UFO or alien grifter, there's some things that you should know. And one of them is that you got about 8 years to pull your whole grift. Because I have seen, I don't know what it is about this, but I have seen this time and time again, that these people go out and do this grift and it just doesn't work out. After about 8 years, they can't. See, here's the problem. They all overpromise and inevitably underdeliver. And so inevitably you end up, I forgot to do the praise to cash. I'm sorry, High Speed Chase. So thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support in helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Yeah, I'm still trying to finish that other studio, so we appreciate all the kindness, generosity, and support. I only need about 8,000 more of that kind of super chat, and we'll be good, and I'll finally finish it all. No, we don't need quite that much, but I'm telling you, building a studio for audio or video is a never-ending black hole of money because there's always some other things that you think you need. I've been in there for weeks wiring synthesizers and then suddenly realized, like, I don't have many drum sounds at all. And I mean, I can use samples for that. Anyway, we're getting off on a tangent. Let's try to focus. So John is pointing out, we're going to talk about this because I think it's important. John says, Corey had a Rumble live stream today that maxed out at around 44 viewers. I thought you guys would like to see the highlight of Todd's wife simping and apologizing for a fake ufologist along with her husband. I don't know what that other stuff is about, but it is interesting. And we have highlighted here. If you go check Corey Good's Social Blade, his numbers are worse than ours right now. And this guy had $1 million streaming company behind him for 5 years or however many years it was. All the support of, Contact in the Desert and all these major conferences, Conscious Life Expo, I think, until he burned all those bridges, right? So if you're going to do a UFO grift like Lou Elizondo or like Corey Good, you've got about 8 years that you can keep pushing the grift before it comes crashing down. And isn't it interesting? In both cases, the case of Corey Good's story started coming crashing down about the 7-year mark. Same for Elizondo. And by the way, boy, people are not pulling any punches on the Zondo today. On UFO Twitter, Stephen Greenstreet basically called him a liar. Verified he's a liar. And I'm glad to see it. But just a public service announcement. If you're going to do a UFO and alien grift, because you always have to overpromise, because you always end up under-delivering, and because none of them ever actually provide any real evidence of their claims or whatever, the grifts come crashing down. People will tune in for a few years and then they start getting bored. And then the skeptics roll in and start destroying these guys. So interesting, in both the case of Corey Good and Lou Elizondo, they got about 7 years into the grift before it all came crashing down and the money dried up because their claims were proven to be false in both cases. And by the way, to you people who email me and message me nasty shit, there is no difference between Lou Elizondo and Corey Good. None. Both of them made a career out of lying. There is no difference between these two. I mean, they had different LARPs. I ran a fake Pentagon UFO program. That's how I live action role play. Corey Good. I was a secret space insider, and I went to Mars and went on secret space missions. That's what my live action role playing fake story will be. It's still clown, narcissistic sociopaths or psychopaths in some case, manipulating people, using people, and selling fake shit. So, in my view, there's no difference between Corey Good and Lou Elizondo. They are now both discredited UFO and conspiracy land profiteering whores who lost their money train. The gravy train dried up for both of them, I guess. And it won't be long before both of them are David Adair. What do I mean by that? David Adair is now working. See, there's no future in the UFO grift. You get a short stint, 7 years, 5 to 7 years, and then it's over. Can't grift no more. And if you keep trying, it just gets worse and worse, and the money gets worse and worse. David Adair used to be a highly paid speaker at some of these conferences. Now he's working tiny UFO conventions in like Biloxi, Mississippi for $150. That's the future for Corey Good, and that's the future for Lou Elizondo if they don't give up on the grift and go get real jobs. They're going to be working those small UFO conventions for a bunch of stupid people. But in any case, I had some other notes here. Yes, the constant need for money. David Wilcock constantly needs money. He's constantly begging for money in one form or another. You know, it's amazing to me how this guy goes through money. We've detailed in the court depositions, it was revealed that he made over $1 million just from one of his $333 courses. Where does all the money go? He doesn't pay his taxes either. So, because now he owes $1.5 million in back taxes, right? Where does all of his money go? He's living this millionaire's lifestyle in a multi-million-dollar log cabin themed mansion, crying he doesn't have insulation. There's like 3-foot thick walls. You don't need insulation, David Wilcock, and you got a heater, you liar, right? Oh, I'm trying to survive the winter in my multi-million-dollar mansion. Yeah, with no insulation because the logs are 3 feet thick. You don't need insulation when you've got 3-foot thick log walls. But what do I know? I'm just a guy that builds cabins. And by the way, I'm going to say it again, haven't said it in a while. Men build cabins. Bitches buy them. All right. So I don't know how far we're going to get into this. Oh, we want to thank Anthony Peterson for a kind and generous $2 super chat. Says, thanks for the advice on running a UFO grift. Yeah, well, I can't go too far in that or I'll get accused of stealing somebody else's material, but somebody did do a course on how to be a secret space grifter on YouTube. Anyway, thank you for helping us, Anthony Peterson. We appreciate you, longtime show supporter. Thanks for helping us to praise the cat.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, now we're going to, listen, you got to get comfortable, get yourself some beverages, because this is another 3-hour stream of nonsensical ramblings from a possibly mentally deranged man. But, you know, again, I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. It's just my opinion listening to this clown. We're going to cite fair use. Let's get the fair use banner up. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public. This is we'll be critiquing and talking about the video with our live audience here. Great attendance tonight. And I just want to take a moment to remind you that if you haven't already, please do smash that. I'm not playing these bumpers anymore. Please smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, especially if you're listening in audio podcast land. If you're listening in audio podcast land, we love and appreciate you, but you're missing a lot of the fun. Come on over to YouTube. Just go over to youtube.com, hit that little magnifying glass, the search tool. Put True Seekers, one word, look for me, the strange guy with sunglasses. Go to that channel, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you'll know when we're doing a live taping for the show. We welcome one and all. We appreciate you audio podcast listeners, but we'd much rather you come and take part in the live chat and discussion during the live broadcasts. All right, we're going to get into it, friends. A positive change is coming soon, and I just put sure it is. I always modify his title just a little. And by the way, I've just mirrored his video so that we don't get commercials every 5 minutes, because it's 3 hours long, and he puts commercials all through this thing. Like, he cranks the commercials up to maximum. He cranks the commercials up to maximum grift. And I don't want to be skipping, commercials during this whole thing. I'll take a moment here to change my camera. We don't have as many cameras as David Wilcock. And by the way, something I noticed during this is, like, why are you using so many cameras if, like, some of the cameras are literally pointed at the back of his head and shit, and he's got to, like, turn around? Like, what are you doing, David Wilcock? But hey, what do I know? Anyway, we're gonna cite fair use. We welcome the live chat. There's another one from High Speed Chase. Before we begin, David Wilcock will soon be panhandling for his grift. Could be, but then again, I'm kind of here with my hat in my hand saying, please help us praise the cash too, so I can't really bitch about that, High Speed Chase. But we do provide some value to our viewers, unlike David Wilcock. Thanks for being a member, and thanks for your support and helping us to praise the cash. We're going to get into it.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, we thank you all. All right, hold on. We're going to get into this now. I don't know how much of this we're going to go through. I may go through this whole thing in one sitting, but if I do, we're going to be here for 6 hours, because to stop it and talk and make points, one of the other ways that I have covered his grifts is to just take notes and timestamp it for people in case they're curious. And we could get through that in an hour for this whole stream. But unfortunately, I'm lazy and didn't do that. So I only listened to the first 45 minutes, and I couldn't take any more, but I'm going to try my best to get through more tonight. Let's get wacky with David Wilcock, friends. A positive change is coming soon.
All right, everybody. It's your buddy. It's David. I'm here. Everything looks like it's good. The audio looks good. The sound looks good. So let me know if you guys are hearing me. I want to make sure that we're all set.
A guy with a 180 IQ doesn't know when he's actually live.
And it looks good on the camera, but it takes about a half a minute to get any. Okay, yep. So there we go. People are saying they can hear it. Great.
I bet you he misses his wife, who used to run the live stream for him. He did a better grift with her.
Wow, man. I have been very, very, very busy talking about this positive change is coming soon.
He hasn't worked in a week. He's been busy.
I only have a half a minute for each slide. If I get through all these slides, there's like 250 slides, and I want to get it done in 2 hours.
There's some weirdness with him where he thinks if he just makes a slide, it somehow makes this bullshit worthwhile, I guess. I don't know. And just so everybody knows, he hasn't worked in a week. He did one live stream last week that was almost a complete and total repeat of his stream that was 2 months prior to that. So that's his work ethic. Do a live stream, don't work for 2 months, do another live stream, but just repeat the same stuff from the live stream 2 months ago. And now he's doing a third live stream in a 3-month period. And he's claiming he's so busy. I don't think so, David. I think you're sitting around your mansion. That's what I think.
Okay, you guys say you can hear me? How's everybody doing? Let's just, my hair looks freaking crazy. Crazy hair is part of the job. Okay, you guys can hear me. I wanted to show you
a brush.
The streaming. How it's coming in over here and how fast it is. Hey, Hun, thanks for being there. Hey, David. Hey, love you, buddy. Everything is all good. Hi from South Australia, mate. There are going to be a few calling the geezers here today, mate. It's just inevitable.
This is pathetic.
I have to play that part a little bit. This is an insider.
That's another one of his fake insiders. Oh, sure he did. Sure.
And I last time decided to open up with 2 skits that were both kind of disclosure comedy, where the idea is to, create something uncomfortable but funny that sheds light on the truth. So that cake boxes story may be a true story. As far as capturing an extraterrestrial, I don't know about that. That probably won't happen, but I just thought it was really funny. I also want to remind you that, there was a couple people saying, oh my God, some of the people in the comments Some of the people in the comments, oh my God.
Yeah, he's getting murdered in his own
See it
comments
right here, okay? So
about what a grifter he is and a
some of the people
scammer
in the
he is.
comments are very mean to me.
He doesn't have anybody
And I
to
wouldn't take it too
cut
seriously.
those
My
people out
comedy has been
anymore.
field tested for many years in front of live audiences.
Hey, look at that.
Studied
Here's a
academically.
camera of
I know
the
what
side
makes
of my
people laugh.
head.
I'm not worried about.
Like, what are you doing?
not
You don't
having
even know how to
laugh
set up a
tracks. It's
camera,
funny to
Mr.
you.
180 IQ.
Everybody else is laughing, so just relax. That's all. I don't need to defend myself. So, anyway,
But I
what
will
we're
anyway.
talking about today is that there is a cosmic battle between good and evil that has been raging on for millennia. And this is what's happening now in our world. If it all looks strange to you and you don't understand what's going on, you can't make any sense out of this, don't worry. The resolution is coming. All of the answers are coming.
Yeah, all the answers are coming. The resolution to all your hopes, fears, problems, and everything. Just give me $333. He's all but using NLP in some of his presentations to get people to buy his crap. That's just my opinion.
And it's going to be very, very amazing when we get the answer.
Yeah, and the year 2000 was going to be amazing when we'd all get rainbow light bodies, but none of that shit happened. In the year 2012, we'd all get telekinesis and superpowers after this big solar flash event that never happened. And that, again, all connected to products he was selling at the time. None of that happened. But now, hey, new amazing things are happening. Sure.
So I wanted to start out today by again directing your attention to The Miracle of the Snow painting by Masolino de Panical, 1428 to 32, because this really does cement in the connection between UFOs like flying saucers and Christianity. Here you have what obviously looks like a mass UFO sighting. I mean, when have you ever seen that many weird clouds that are all shaped in like a round pancake? And they just all kind of happen to be there at the same time. Plus, there appears to be some type of geometric pattern in snow that this flying saucer created. Hence, the title of the piece is The Miracle of the Snow.
Or somebody just painted something, and this has nothing to do with what he's talking about. But, you know, don't let that get in the way. It's good material, right? Looks like there's a UFO painted in this ancient painting.
So if you look at this image, you'll see that they are like shoveling the snow, and it's got this funny geometric pattern. So I believe this was one of the historical crop circles, only this time the ETs did it with a snow circle instead of with, man, I got something in my eye. What the hell? The snow circle. So you can look at that, see that he's shoveling the thing. It's very interesting. And as we go into detail on this, you got Jesus and Mary around this rainbow halo.
Yeah, and you see that? That's a rock. That is not a UFO. That's a rock that Jesus and Mary are, you know, sort of pedestaled up on top of. And you know the things behind it? You know what that is? Those are other rocks, right? Those are rocks. These aren't UFOs, David Wilcock.
And it, you know, and then down here again is where the crop circle was.
There's no crop
In my
circle.
last show,
It's
I
snow.
also talked to you about Saint Germain's flying saucer.
Oh, yeah. David Wilcock is so desperate for material that now he's going into Christian and specifically Catholic sort of occultic, strange esoteric teachings. And, you know, I don't know, being a recovering Catholic myself, I could tell you that the Catholics' paranormal views are largely inflated, conflated, and not accurate. For example, the Catholics claim that when somebody dies a saint, their body doesn't rot. But we prove that to be false. You know, basically, putting a wax face on top of a skeleton doesn't mean the body's incorruptible, but that's what Catholics will tell the true believers, you know, hey, make sure you donate while you're here visiting the incorruptible body of a saint that we slapped up in a glass case in this altar, for example, in St. John Newman Church. Relying on Catholic mysticism for material is extremely problematic because most Catholic mysticism, like a lot of paranormal mysticism, can be proven fake.
And I did.
But now he's delving into that.
So this was something that is actually true, folks. Now try to shoot this one down. Oh, that
It's true because somebody said it was true.
this was in 1789 that Voltaire, I believe it was 1789, that he commissioned this art illustration that you're looking at right here, based upon his book, Micromagos, which was about ETs coming to Earth and assessing our population. Now, he did actually have a letter that he wrote to Saint Germain, where he said that Saint Germain was involved in talking pictures, that Saint Germain was going to come back in the 1950s in his flying machine. And then he commissioned this artwork and showed you what the flying machine actually looks like. And it is a traditional flying saucer.
Well, it doesn't look too traditional to me, but so Voltaire heard a story and then commissioned somebody to make a drawing. And to David Wilcock, that just means the story must be true.
Now we're 200 years later, or 300 years later, than the Miracle of the Snow painting that we just saw before. So I go into great detail on these subjects in my relatively new product.
I don't know. My wife started cutting hair during the pandemic. She could do a better job than he's doing. It's terrible.
If you enter the discount code Jubilation, you get an $83.
There's no excuse for a guy that has millions of dollars having a haircut like
we
this.
didn't really sell very many last time.
Oh, the pitch.
So I don't have any other.
We didn't really sell many last time. He's upset because the last time he did a live stream just to sell his shit, no, he didn't sell a lot of them. But this is how out of touch this man is. What if only 3 people or 5 people bought his course? That would be $1,000 or $1,500. And I'm here to tell you, David Wilcock, how out of touch with reality are you? Because there are people living in the United States and especially, of course, in other countries as well, that their only income for the entire month is $1,000 or less. And you're here crying and complaining, and you barely have worked for the past 3 months. You did one live stream 2 months ago, one live stream last week, and this live stream in a 3-month period. And he's complaining because not a lot of people bought my crap. Even if 3 or 4 did, that's $1,500 or $2,000. That's more than a lot of people's income. You know, people are on fixed incomes and Social Security or disability checks, and everybody's struggling, and he's crying because he only made $1,000 or $2. And that's not counting the super chats, right? During this live stream, people were sending him hundreds of dollars. I didn't add it up, but it's probably $1,000 or more in super chats. And he's crying the blues about money. He's doing his pitch the first few minutes in and then says he's not going to pitch it again, but he does.
Products right now. So if you've already heard about it, please give it a second look.
Oh, give it a second look. Yeah,
higher price item,
it's really important.
Being very thoroughly attacked by the deep state. We do still need.
This is consumer fraud. Prove it, David Wilcock. He's trying to sell a product to consumers while claiming he's under attack by the deep state. What's your evidence that you're under attack by the deep state? He's trying to guilt people into giving him $333, claiming that his information is so important that members of the deep state are attacking him and he needs your support and your money. That's a form of consumer fraud. So much so that I'm going to follow up with the state attorney general of the state that he lives in. We've already captured the clips, David Wilcock. You can't lie to consumers while you're trying to sell them a product. You know that? Do you know that could be problematic for you? Oh, he's under deep state attack. Well, unless you can prove that's true, you just made a false statement while appealing to consumers to buy your product.
Money. As soon as I don't need money, I don't intend to charge for any of my video work.
As soon as he doesn't need money. He always needs money. When is he not going to need money?
Or at least not be on like a Netflix type of subscription thing, if I can get around to doing that. So once I have the money, I probably won't try to monetize any of my content. But right for now, if you go there, it's really, really going to help me out.
Oh, you even get a discount code. It's not just bullshit. It's discount bullshit. How nice of him to give everybody a discount on his worthless fake information.
Appreciate it. When I've heard about advertising on YouTube, they always want you to do it at the beginning. So I'm just going to leave it at the beginning, and then we're not going to go back there again. I might occasionally refer to it.
He goes back.
So as I was saying, we're dealing with a cosmic battle between good and evil here. And in the process, we have
you gotta keep switching the cameras.
Historical artifacts like this. As I told you, this is my.
This is a historic. It's a fucking lamp. It's not a historical artifact.
Saucer type of UFO contact, and even if we look here at camera 7, the top of it.
He's got
right
7
here,
cameras right now.
Yeah, this actually looks like the stylized top of the typical flying saucer.
No, it doesn't. It looks like a fake
And then
one, like an
obviously all the stuff
Adamski
that you
top.
see below it looks like, you know, your typical flying saucers as
It's
well.
a lamp.
So,
it's not
is
flying
that just a
saucers. This
coincidence?
guy's got
No,
flying
it's because
saucer
people
brain.
in Turkey had this amazing sighting, and then they made these types of lamps to, you know, get back into the
Oh
flow
yeah,
and be like, wow.
yeah.
okay,
Not
we've
just
got
that
the
somebody
proof.
made a lamp with globes
So,
on it, right? It's
This is a
definitely
cosmic
flying
battle between
saucers.
good and evil. And the work that I've done over the last 2.5 years has been
The work that he's done. He wrote a 7-book rambling mess of nonsense that he claims came from an angel. Can't prove that either.
recovering data that I channeled in the 1990s from Archangel Michael. Normally, I wouldn't think of channeling as being any good, but in this case, I did it right with remote viewing protocols. If you follow those protocols,
He can't even get his story straight. He didn't normally he wouldn't think channeling was good. Well, why did you make money channeling the Egyptian god Ra before if channeling's not any good? But now it's the Archangel Michael.
they claim it can be 99% accurate. I was really disappointed when I did this stuff at the time because a lot of it didn't make sense. Now, basically, almost everything that was weird that it said turns out to be actually real.
Only if you connect a bunch of dots that do not exist. He has not one real prophetic prediction that he can point to that is real and true. It's always this game of like, well, the Archangel Michael said there would be 3 trumpets and we could see three wars brewing. It's always some bullshit way to connect the narrative to pretend. Again, David Wilcock lives in a fake fantasy land where he has psychic superpowers and angels tell him the future before it happens. The problem is he can't prove any of this, and he never will.
I saw some flyaways on my hair last time. I'm trying to get rid of that. Maybe we'll even just do a little water on top. Huh? That way there's absolutely no chance. It's so much better than hairspray. That's all I can say. I hate hairspray.
Yeah, let me give you some advice, David Wilcock. If you're going to have hair, if you're going to have that bad of a haircut, at least get yourself some styling products, some gel, some mousse, something, and slap that shit back because you look like a homeless man right now. And the fact that a guy's in $1 million mansion with a haircut like this looking like a homeless man, I mean, actually, this is a slight improvement. Somebody asked in the live chat if he's cutting his own hair. It looks like it.
So anyway, we've been dealing with a cosmic proxy war between good and evil. Both sides interact with our populace, and both sides, angels and demons, will make contact with human beings in person if you go far enough. Now, the positive beings are usually going to contact people who are meditators, people who have a high degree of spirituality, whereas the negative side is more apt to contact, what in the hell is in my eye? It's because I work so fast trying to get ready for you guys.
Oh, yeah, he works so fast.
The positive side is contacting the good guys, people who meditate and are spiritual, whereas the negative side goes right to the top. They want governments, they want finance, they want...
Oh, so we meditate, so we're the good guys. Nonsense.
Corporations, they want military, and they want control of the planet. So it's a proxy war that's being fought between positive and negative beings, and they only can do what we allow them to do. So this is called the rules. It's a basic part of the game. Both sides have to follow these rules.
Yeah, and this is some nonsensical point that he's made multiple times in previous streams, where basically, first, the rule is they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. And second, you have to allow them to do it. You know, and especially when you're talking about negative spiritual entities or demonic entities, did the people that are possessed give their permission to be possessed? I did find one case of that, at least, but in most of the cases, no. No, it's just completely and totally wrong from a biblical perspective. But while I was in a private Catholic school being educated on the actual Bible and you know, what the Catholic and Christian Church actually teaches, he was living with a New Age mom that was into all of this nonsense. So he's got a very skewed, 100% biblically wrong sense of the way things work in Christianity and Judaism.
Which basically means they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it.
See, there you go.
We see lots and lots of evidence of this with the negative in Super Bowl halftime show, Grammys award ceremony.
Oh, now again. Oh, we're going to go with predictive programming and the satanic, Super Bowl.
Olympics halftime, Olympics opening and closing ceremonies. We have very, very strange, very redundant imagery that's quite negative, bloody, with lots of devil type of content in it. And this is not uncommon. It's something you see almost every year. And we'll talk a little bit.
Or it's just popular imagery in pop culture and people use it for shock value. People like Marilyn Manson. And I have to admit, in my younger years as a rock guy, I used the same kind of imagery to sell the show. It doesn't mean it's predictive programming. It doesn't mean they're asking permission or telling you what they're going to do. It's David Wilcock's Fantasyland, where he's connecting dots that aren't really there.
More about that in some of our slides for this year. My point is that negative entities actually do contact those who identify as the elites, and the negative entities will actually teach them how to do a better job of
lying is corrosive to the soul
and keeping us under the boot heel. And this is all based on deception. Satan's greatest trick is convincing mankind he does not exist. That's a quote from Winston Churchill, and I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, like pretending he's the Archangel Michael
Satan's
and talking to
great power,
grifters.
The devil's great power is convincing mankind he does not exist. I think that's about as close to the actual quote as I can get. Okay, so the point is that both sides are at this war, and we don't usually get to see this. We don't hear from the good guys very much. We don't hear from the bad guys directly. And both sides are just fighting it out by influencing humans who then have to...
On my list,
It's
Kepsa.
like a proxy war. Like, the Soviet Union did not want to fight America in a nuclear war, so we have the Korean War and we have Vietnam.
She's getting $100 super chats.
Scare. We have to stop the red spread.
And you know what I love? Weird Reads by Emily is here. She's a smaller content creator. I don't mean that as a bust. I just mean in compared to people with 500,000 subscribers or whatever, Emily. But could you imagine any world, Emily Louise, where somebody sent you a $100 super chat and you did not show it on the screen and thank them? He doesn't even thank people. And by the way, this new for years, he never thanked anybody. He didn't even give a general, hey, thanks for the super chat, guys. Recently, he's doing that. Oh, look, we got a super chat. Once in a while, he'll call one out or read one, but that's it. Weird Reads by Emily says, I would die. Yeah. When I first started the show, somebody sent me like 300 Mexican whatever, and I thought it was $300. I was like, woohoo! It was like $6, but still, I was thankful to get it. And we read every single super chat for those unaware. I just think it's so selfish and greedy for him to be getting all these super chats and don't even thank the people individually.
But was
it's
a proxy
ridiculous.
War with the Soviet Union that they said was happening in Korea and Vietnam. They didn't want it to overload into a full-blown war.
Yeah, and he's claiming there's some kind of proxy war between the angels and the devils going on, and he's going to throw out one real historical fact, like the Korean War or the Vietnam War was a proxy war, to support his other arguments. And one of these things is not like the other. One's reality, and one's David Wilcock's fantasy bullshit land.
Example of a proxy war. It's not that the superpowers fought directly, but they fought by arming the two sides of Vietnam or Korea. And in the U.S.'s side, they actually went in there. So this is important because telepathically, we're all being influenced.
Yeah, I'm aware,
by
Dr.
positive
Jekyll.
and negative entities. This is one of the most important points that I have to share with you. Your mind is being influenced by both sides. Please do not be arrogant enough to think that you can say a few prayers and negative entities are never going to bother you, or smudge or do a shamanic ceremony. Negative entities and positive entities, according to the law of one, which again is my
Yes, I'm aware. We've
they
detailed
are at
that.
war
Thank you,
for your
Dr. Jekyll.
consciousness, for your attention. And the way that they're trying to get that attention is by
I agree. Science, evidence, and fringe.
Telepathically. So when you start having positive thoughts, you'll have more positive energy sent to you by positive
I
entities.
agree. It's a
When you
Q-tard
start
problem.
thinking negative thoughts, negative entities will send you more negative thoughts. And so all of this proxy war has now built up to what has happened since 2020. And there are many anomalies surrounding the presidential inauguration. So first of all, Joe Biden, as you can see right here, was denied a military plane. He had to fly into his inauguration privately. What in the hell is that all about?
Yeah, and here's where we get, this is all Q-tard nonsense that he's getting from Telegram.
Wait a minute, he had to fly in privately? Yeah, because the military wasn't supporting him. So this is what the military was doing
when
I
Biden
don't know. I'm
arrived for
not
his
really
inauguration.
familiar with his
That's a
website.
view from his motorcade. Okay, he was in the car. He's looking out the window, and it doesn't look like it's
I
a
agree,
very
Talmud.
favorable
Thanks for being a
reception.
member.
Everybody had their back turned.
Yeah,
Look
you
at
lose
that.
IQ
Freaking
points.
crazy.
What?
And then what's even more strange?
This is all
is
Q-tard
what you
stuff,
see here.
Emily.
Notice
It's
that
all
none of the
Q-tard
military
nonsense.
have any of their
He's back to
gingerbread on.
Q-tard.
No insignias. Just
He's
take a close
desperate
look,
for
okay?
material.
Tell
He's
me
pulling
if
out the
you see any
Q-tard
badges.
nonsense
Do you
again.
see any medals? Do you see any other stuff going on here? No, they don't have anything on. And you compare this to George W. Bush's inauguration, and sure enough, they got the typical gingerbread. They got all the right stuff. So again, you go back to this one, and they got nothing on at all. They're all
Yes,
wearing
this is a
black.
Q-tard
Now,
conspiracy. He was never
okay,
inaugurated.
well, I don't believe that means anything. Ha ha ha. It doesn't matter that they didn't give him the official plane. The military didn't fly him in. It doesn't matter they turned their backs on him. It doesn't matter they were wearing any medals or insignias. Well, again, this is
I agree,
not
Randy.
really normal. This is what we saw during Bush's inauguration.
He's going full wackadoo,
So
Emily.
something is going on here, but they're just not going to tell you. And then this was a video shot from a rooftop. I did this stuff back in 2021.
Yeah, this is more
where there was
Q-tard
hardly
nonsense. He's
anybody there except for the
recycling
people who had to be
2021
there.
Q-tard
The
nonsense.
obligatory military audience is there, but if you look, the crowd is incredibly small, and everybody looks like the same uniformed military people.
That's because it was during the COVID lockdown, you idiot. You know, some of this stuff is just so nonsensical that you have to be an idiot to believe this. This is 2021 Q-tard conspiracy nonsense. And remember, all of the Q-tard stuff we now know was all fake nonsense. So why is he recycling 2021 Q-tard nonsense, right? And here's a point that's important. If he's really in communication with the Archangel Michael, wouldn't the Archangel Michael bitch slap him, right? Like, Q-tard's fake, you dumbass! Stop talking about Q-tard nonsense! I would think so, if the Archangel Michael was actually caring about him, right?
Wearing those dark black uniforms and nothing else. So here was a post from, again, January 21 with my buddy Red Pill 78. He was awesome. I haven't been watching him in a while, but
yeah, another
really
Q-tard
show 4 years ago. And it's inside the ugly transition.
He's so
of the Pentagon.
divorced.
He's describing on this that there was no nuclear football that was transferred. We'll get to that in a second.
This
So
is
then,
all
this
Q-tard
also
nonsense.
showed up right around the same time that we're talking about, early January.
Desperate
when
and
the Washington Monument in
reaching,
the White House
absolutely.
turned dark. And there was extensive evidence that Biden was not actually allowed into the White House at first. I think it eventually did change.
Yeah, this is the Q-tard conspiracy nonsense. Oh, no, he's not in the real White House. He's on a set, and Donald Trump is still in the White House and still in control of the military. This is all Q-tard nonsense.
First, they literally, look at this, they were literally broadcasting out of a set that apparently was not in the White House at all. Now, it could be that the alliance...
This is a false conspiracy proven false.
This, again, is all evidence of really strange stuff. Another strange thing is that the House canceled all of its business during its first full week after Biden got into office. I think because they're trying to figure out what in the hell is going on here. Why are they doing this?
Patty says,
And
take down
again,
that flag, you grifter.
Trump did not go in there to welcome Joe to the WH. As you can see right here, there's another sign of really bad blood. And then he took the nuclear football and he didn't hand it over. Okay, well, that seems pretty freaking crazy, right? Look, they don't have the uniform.
It's not crazy. There's two.
Turning their backs. They didn't give him Air Force One. They wouldn't let him into the White House at first. And they wouldn't give him the football.
I agree, Talmud.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I just looked that up on DuckDuckGo. Sure enough, this was, they say, well, they're going to give him a second. Don't worry. He'll still be able to nuke the planet. No, this was the military doing something very strange. And it's, again, part of this.
It's not strange. I looked into this. There is two of the so-called footballs. And as soon as the new president is inaugurated, they transfer control to the new president, and they disable control of the other one from the previous president. There is no conspiracy here, David Wilcock. You're just stupid.
Proxy war. You're not seeing the beings influencing the alliance. You're not seeing the beings influencing the other side. And in fact, probably most of the people in these organizations do not know.
I agree.
They are in a proxy war. They do not know about these beings, most of them.
most of them are probably innocent. You know, I'm not really against people who still don't see what's going on, because the information I'm sharing with you has never been on Fox. It's never been on any.
No, it's been on Telegram.
You're just not.
It's a bunch of Q-tard nonsense from Telegram, you idiot.
All this stuff, or if you haven't watched a video like the one I'm doing now, this is inscrutable information. You're not going to get this.
This is inscrutable? What does that mean? What does
the
inscrutable
National
mean?
Guard, was held in D.C. through the end of January, and they were kept in an underground bunker parking garage.
This is literally
This is another
Q
really strange
posts
thing.
from
This came out on
Telegram.
January 17th. A mid-sized TV station had a visit from the FCC.
Oh, the mass arrests and the internet outage again.
We don't know what agency they were with. It's really weird. We've been told to prepare for all of our programming to be preempted.
And this is a chicken or an egg thing. Did he get this bullshit from Telegram, or is he just looking through Telegram for bullshit to confirm his previous bullshit?
From 8 a.m. Wednesday for up to 72 hours. You could be held criminally liable if you don't allow this to air. And he's never seen anything like this after 30 years. They scared the shit out of him and his district manager, and he was almost in tears.
Oh no!
Whoa.
And this is his evidence. This is what counts as evidence for David Wilcock, an anonymous Q-tard poster on Telegram. That's his evidence.
So this was where I was like, wait a minute, is that the emergency messaging system? 72 hours. You're criminally liable.
Find me somebody to interview. I'll do it.
Like this in 30 years. Yeah, they're getting ready to make an announcement, and this was another fake out that made us think, hey, maybe it's all going to happen in 2021. And I was, as you know, doing videos back then. The global very acrimonious divorce is what I called it.
While he was getting a divorce.
What do I think is happening here? Before we go on, I was briefed in 2009, and then my Archangel Michael readings since 1996.
He was briefed. Again, he wants people to believe that he's so important, he's getting top secret briefings. And again, you're selling products based on this, David. You better get a lawyer, and you better start looking into consumer protection laws in your home state and the home state of your LLCs in which you operate. You're lying through your teeth to people, telling them that you're getting briefings. Briefings from who? What briefings?
Talking about a coup over the military-industrial complex and the UFO cover-up. We talked about Voltaire and his drawing of a UFO for Saint Germain. We showed you the miracle of the snow painting. These are Christian beings, and so these beings
since 1998,
as Mother Mary. We talk about in the
he's been promising mass arrests since 1998.
Sightings of 1917 in Portugal, where up to 90,000 people saw a flying disc in the air.
And again, he's going to Catholic mysticism because he has no other material.
Make sure we're all good here with the comments.
Look, here's a camera taking a thing of my back of my head.
David. I don't know that 100% of what he's saying is true, but it sure explains a lot.
Briefings from 2021 Telegram chats. That's who he's getting briefings from. Telegram Q-tard briefing. Telegram Q-tard briefing. And look, he can't work cameras. He's like pointing cameras at the back of his head.
That's really sad. I'm so glad I signed on this device with my email. I don't know we were going live. I only missed about 15 minutes. Yeah, you can catch the rest later.
Yeah, if you're getting that information in 1996, then you don't need the briefings.
Trump is still the president of one. Brandon is the illegitimate president of the other. Both are foreign mercenary corporations operating legal. I don't know about that, but yeah, okay. We channel positive entities. Would like to share what we find with you. Please feel free to contact me.
I get it. Yeah, Miss Testimony, he does.
David is correct.
People don't keep track, and he recycles the same shit over and over and over again. It didn't happen the first time. It's not going to happen a second time.
Back to that slide.
Let's get back to our Q-tard Telegram briefing.
What is this? What happened? Why did these people come in with badges? Why were they talking to them? What the heck is going on here? Well, again, this is a proxy war. And I heard about the alliance back in 2009, that since the 1950s, during the time of...
Yes, and you know who told him about the alliance? His fake government insider, Pete Peterson. That was a complete and total fraud. His education was fake. He didn't work for Ronald Reagan like he claimed. He was a complete and total bullshitter. That's why David likes him so much, because it's easy to sell bullshit if you've got two people generating it.
That there was an effort made. They called it the plan, and it was, hey, there's these really evil people. Howard Hughes found out about it. We need to stop them. How do we do that? It's going to take decades.
Howard Hughes has been dead for decades, right? And none of this information has come out or proven to be real.
So
But
Kennedy
David
was trying
Wilcock
to do
has
He
it.
passed this executive order 11110 that made it illegal to sell the silver out of the Treasury. Why was he stopping the Treasury from selling silver? Because he was making silver-backed currency that was not Federal Reserve notes. So that's pretty crazy, right? When somebody's willing to go that far, you're like, darn, okay. And then all of a sudden he got killed right after he passed Executive Order 11110. So he was trying to enact this plan that they'd created. He got assassinated. I'll have a slide on him later.
How does he know what plans he was assassinated over? He's given multiple explanations for that.
Showing you the very enigmatic shape of his grave where Kennedy was buried. But again, this is all part of the proxy war.
Oh, yeah, the shape of John F. Kennedy's grave, that has some significance. No, it doesn't.
There are positive ETs that contacted 1958 Valiant Thor, human ET.
Oh, my God, he's citing Valiant Thor as true incredible. What's the source of that? Frank Stranges, a guy who decided he wasn't making enough money grifting off of being a minister, so he wrote some books about aliens and UFOs. What's the verifiable evidence of Valiant Thor? There is none. Zero.
Landed and then went to the Pentagon, stayed there for 3 years. When I say human ET, I mean it's an energy being that projects into human form. It's the same as Saint Germain. It's the same as the Miracle of the Snow. They come in a regular looking flying.
Well, why did Frank Stranges not say he was the same as Saint Germain? You know, again, just connecting all these disconnected dots from unproven stories.
Saucer, like we think of when we think of a flying disc. And those are the good guys. The bad guys might have other types of craft. Some of the craft are really nasty. Some of the craft are loaded with dead human bodies that are all in various states of decay. That's part of the negative. This is an Uncle Jack story. I'll tell you. I'll give you another one. Okay,
more evidence-free claims with a character telling him stories. This is one of his imaginary friends that he talks to.
Something else, but when they looked inside and they saw the
he's
horror,
cracking up, talking to himself.
The public never. Well, apparently, what's going on there is that there are reptilian ETs, and they are very nasty, and so they just like to set people free inside their ship, kill them and eat them inside the ship, and then leave all the debris sitting around.
No, he's getting it wrong. According to Kerry Cassidy, first they fuck you, David Wilcock. The reptilian aliens, first they fuck you, then they eat you. You're getting the order wrong. You're not even getting the story right. First they bang you. I don't know if they butt bang you, anally probe you, or what, but either way, they bang you first, and then they eat you.
That's why they stink very badly. People don't want to be around them. This is apparently true. Now, in America, I don't think very many people are getting taken for this, but there are, a certain amount of people being lost every year. A lot of it is happening from illegal border crossings. That was one of the things I was told years ago. They called it meat wagons.
The meat wagons again.
People that were dying were Latinos. There was a lot of racist joking going on. I heard all kinds of strange stuff about Mexican food and how it related to this. Didn't make me laugh. It was very disgusting. But the point is, yeah, there is real stuff going on. We need to stop it. It's not very many people, but it's enough that I don't.
There's real stuff going on, but I can't prove any of this is real stuff.
Want this to happen. It's like getting eaten by a bear or by a wolf if you're out in the woods or something like that. These things do happen to people. It's just in this case, it's an alien. But this is not the kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And again, these beings.
Maybe he found the dildos.
Real. They're referred to in the Bible. Everything you think about the devil, Satan, it's true, man. And so that's one of the big things I've learned is that in the UFO cover-up, they've got deep underground military bases, and some of the military is working with the bad guys, and that's like your deep state, Illuminati, and some of the military.
And if you just go to like the sources of his information, it's funny. He's citing Phil Schneider about deep underground military bases being, infested with aliens and shit. And that guy was a mental patient, nut job, who was a liar and a scammer and tragically ended his own life. You know why? I think that lying to people for a living is corrosive to the soul. That's why there's so many of these guys with drug problems, alcohol problems, and more.
Working with the good guys, that's your Valiant Thor, that's your Alliance. Now, the Alliance has been working behind the scenes for all these years. They've been doing this. They've been getting us ready for the big reveal where we find out that there's a much more organized, much more entrenched negativity on Earth than we could have ever imagined.
It is real. We can't get around it. We have to deal with this. And again, it's a proxy war. So it really comes down to a balance.
Well, it hasn't happened in a long time, and it happened, I don't know, 10 minutes ago before I even cursed on the stream, but we've already been demonetized. So I just want to take a moment to thank all of you Patreon supporters and YouTube channel members. Isn't it nice that he can be this man can be fully monetized selling this nonsense to people, but if you do a stream picking it apart as nonsense, you get demonetized. Real fair system we have here. Real fair system.
Battle for our consciousness and how we treat each other. Are we nice to each other? Are we evil? Do we create positive?
Yeah, another big reveal.
Fascist dictatorships. What are we going to do with ourselves? So this is all a very big question. So I was talking in my last show about how the Alliance has been signaling references to my work. And again, the posts with the 17th letter of the alphabet, as we've discussed. That's the letter.
So here's what he's saying. The Alliance has been talking about my posts. A fictional group made up by a con artist source of his that was a complete and total fraud is apparently checking into his posts. That's one of his sources, a complete and total fraud who made up something called the Alliance. And then his other source is Q-tard Telegram briefing nonsense.
Okay, those posts originated in late October of 2017 after I had been quoting from a woman named Mega Anon who was sharing basically the same stuff and saying there's going to be this huge reveal of information.
She was a Q-tard.
People getting arrested. There might be some kind of a blackout. And after this all happens, then you're going to hear the truth. You're going to hear, wow, wait a minute. You're saying that these satanic aliens, okay, or extraterrestrials have been here this whole time.
Now they're satanic aliens, not just regular aliens. I love it.
They find people they want to work with. They tell them what to do. And then those people become incredibly rich, incredibly powerful on a worldwide basis. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This goes all the way back through millennia.
You're right. Hey, Ghost.
As I've said,
Corey said the Alliance lost after the deposition.
Sacrifice ceremonies, and they were doing this to Moloch. When Rome invaded,
I agree.
They inherited the technology.
Thank you, John, for sharing those documents.
These beings actually show up, and they do what
yeah, great job, Simon.
They'll help us. So Rome then migrated to Great Britain, and Great Britain
yes, they do. They all support each other.
So you got three major deep state centers. You got Rome, which is the spiritual center. You've got City of London, which is the financial center, and you've got Washington, D.C. These are all nation states. The Vatican is the spiritual center. City of London is the financial center, etc. So what I'm saying is that in 2017, the Alliance started to show that they want to
educate. He's got 4 years saying the same BS. None of this ever happens.
Did this through the 17 posts.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Near the end, there was some comms that came through that were very shocking that showed me they were paying attention to my work. This is from November 18th, 2022. The fourth to last entry, 4963.
Oh, look, the Q fake nonsense is validating things that I said.
I'm just going to read the bottom. It says, Patriots in trusted positions, trust yourself. You have seen the truth. Time to show the world. Focus, focus, ascension. Well, wait a minute. I'm the ascension guy, right? I'm the ascension guy. That's been my brand. And so here it is right here at the bottom. It says, focus, focus, time to show the world, ascension. Well, that's not normally something you'd expect to hear in the posts, but yet there it is. And this was just literally November 18th was about a little less than a month before I finished book one of the Michael prophecies, which
again, he's just assigning value to like Q-tard posts that validate his feelings.
Which is all about Archangel Michael, this alleged source in the 1990s that I channeled with remote viewing, that then starts predicting the future with stunning accuracy.
See, and I don't understand that. He channeled it with remote viewing. Those are two different things, but okay.
In the present, I was already doing videos on this. I was already reporting on this, but I'd fallen behind. The book was late, and they're telling me to focus and get it done. So this was just astonishing.
Oh, so Q-tards are telling him to focus and get your book done so you can make that sweet $333 cash. It's nice to know that Q-tard fake posts are telling him to focus and get the grift going again.
Now, you could say, oh, David, you're making it all up. That's what everybody's going to do. The haters, at least, will do that. But
oh, yeah.
There's so much
you are making it all up.
let's look at the next one. Okay, the next one is
You can show me
number
18
4966. This is the last
Q-tard
time
posts.
they've
It doesn't
ever
mean what
posted
you're
anything.
saying is right, because Q-tard is fake. Q-tard stuff's all fake.
They've never done anything again up until now. What is coded in your DNA? Who put it in there? This is my stuff. I mean, this is what I talk about. There's the Draco reptilians came here 250,000 years ago. It might have been 400,000 years ago. This is Uncle Jack stuff again. And they put their DNA
John, you're
into
right.
our DNA. So he said this is
A
why
channel
we
with
have
remote
shingles,
viewing can be translated
this is
as
why
I
we
made it
have,
all up.
Sunburns. There's various health problems that we have. The appendix actually is
He's been using
technical
Q-tard
organ
stuff for
they
years.
took out because if they left it in, it would take nutrients from your small intestine, run it back up to your liver, and that gives you so much more nutrition that you live for 900 years. So that was another thing he told me is that Draco took that out. So wait a minute, I'd already done videos on this, and here it is. What is coded in your DNA? Who put it there? Why?
More Q-tard
Mankind is
nonsense.
repressed. We will be repressed no more. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Information is power. How do
You're
you
right,
protect your
Stormcrow.
DNA? There is a war for your DNA. Protect your DNA. Ascension. I have not taken credit for this yet, folks. That shows restraint. Now, trolls can say whatever they want. I really don't care. But this was November 27th.
He hasn't taken credit because his bullshit aligned with Q-tard fake bullshit too.
2022. I have never taken credit for this one. But it's bang on the nose. The Archangel Michael, David Wilcock reference. There is a war.
There's no mention of an angel in this.
Protect
It's
your
a
DNA.
vague post.
Well,
This is a stupid trick of a fake psychic. Just take generalities and assign value to them.
DNA has Draco reptilian influences in it, and it also has angelic human ET influences in it. This is another very fascinating thing. Both sides have given us DNA. So we have spring-loaded DNA where some of us are going to be more ready for this than others, but you
I agree,
will be able
mostly
to turn
space.
into one of these human ETs or similar to it because you have that DNA in you. But the principle of the proxy war, again, is this idea that you have to support whichever side you want to be on. If you want to be good, you got to have good thoughts, forgiveness, patience, compassion, understanding. If you want to be evil and you want to make it to the highest level of that, you have to do these ritual abuse ceremonies that are very disgusting and bloody.
That he has claimed that he has taken part in. So there's a lot of contradictions here. If he's taken part in these satanic rituals as a child, wouldn't that mean that he's on the evil side? Right? And he has spent his entire life deceiving, manipulating, and stealing money from people for fake information, but he's the good guy though. Like, does he even stop and consider the drivel that's coming out of his mouth and how it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever before he says it?
In which you apparently have a hallucination of some negative demonic creature. Apparently that's what they see. It's the result of ingesting hallucinogens. But the hallucinogens apparently allow some type of transdimensional effect to occur, as I've talked about before. So both of these sides are trying to use your DNA as an antenna. And again, the very last thing they ever said in the entire posts was protect your DNA and ascension, which is, there's nobody else talking about that except really for me. So I was.
He's saying he's the only person talking about ascension. Every new age grifter on YouTube is talking about ascension, you asshole.
Just absolutely stunned when I saw this. How do you protect your DNA? And again, the answer is we have to have a personal renaissance within ourselves, and we also have to.
Oh, good. I thought it was taking baths in your piss. I thought that's how you
Now,
did
here's
it.
another thing that was very, very, very bizarre, folks. This came out on April 10th, 2023, where the opposition, okay, this is like this.
Actually, that's a good idea, Randy.
Say, yeah, there's going to be a mass ET contact event, not in 2025, which is what Michael said. They just took the same exact information that I'd already disclosed, or that Michael had disclosed through me. Whatever Archangel Michael is, supposedly the highest angel in the pantheon.
Could be,
According to the
Patty. Who
Bible.
knows?
All right, he's the main guy responsible for the defeat of Satan.
He needs a
He
rubber
says they're
room.
coming back by the middle of 2025. That's the main point of the Michael prophecies. You can go read the 7 books. It talks about it in each one of them. You can go watch the.
Now, just so everybody's aware, David Wilcock is claiming that the Archangel Michael said there would be a mass ET event in 2025. So mark your calendars. If we don't see mass alien event in 2025, we will know that this grift has come crashing down. But see, here's how these scams work. He just gave dates, which is not something that's advisable when you're grifting, because then as soon as the date rolls around and nothing happens, everybody knows you were grifting. But by then, he will have already collected every dollar he could out of these fake Michael books. So he won't care. He'll just be on to the next grift, recycling other nonsense. But, you know, again, based on the biblical rules, if this mass alien invasion doesn't happen in 2025, he's not in communication with divine or angelic sources, and that will be completely and totally clear. But then again, he couldn't be, because he was already wrong about several things in his first book.
The 11 videos, it talks about it.
An angel wouldn't lie to you.
Now,
a demon would.
This is actually, the headline is from How and Wise, ex-CIA officer on UFOs and aliens. They are showing up in 2027.
Now he's using How and Wise, a garbage website for sources.
Awesome. I mean, he posts like I don't know how he does it, man. Vicky Verma's posting on Twitter like every day. So God bless you, brother. If you got a big creative team helping you, that's incredible. He does way more than I do. So
well, you're lazy. You're lazy.
On Podcast UFO with Martin Willis, this is his article. Ramirez claimed that the government is aware of an impending event in 2027, which will reveal something quite significant, so people are being prepared.
Now he's citing...
He's been stating there's a presence on Earth, which he refers to...
Mr. I'm under deep state attack is citing a CIA person who said that there's an impending event in 2027 that's going to happen with aliens. Sure. John Ramirez is a joke, and he's been wrong many times.
Who is demonic, who are just projecting their own belief systems to make us disbelieve in what we believe. There you go. That's the Michael prophecies. Negative ETs are demonic. Same thing.
Yeah, and that's the wackadoo prover maneuver. That's when two wackadoos who have no evidence say, you know, similar things, and they both claim that makes the things they said true because somebody else said it. That's not evidence. That's not how this works.
So, Willis asked Ramirez what would happen if there was a mass landing. Would we just simply prepare for a conflict, or would we actually initiate something? The former CIA guy replied, I think the dialogue we have now in this country, even with the recent legislation that passed through the legislature and is on its way up to the president's desk, is preparing the U.S. population, and by extension, the world population, for the reality that there is a presence here that we need to explain. Whoa, but it gets better. Hold on.
Or worse, depending on your point of view.
If they show up and we continue to do what we did before in previous decades, there will be mass panic. I don't think so, because it's actually energy change, and you feel incredibly high and blissed out as this is happening. But we're all gonna feel high and blissed out as we meet the alien space brothers. Awesome. Again with the sniffing. Do you notice how much he sniffs? Like, dude, get yourself a nasal decongestant, or stop doing whatever is causing you to have to sniff 80,000 times during one live stream. If we understand that these are real, and we have...
Or I'm going to have to make another sniff at it out of this one. 5
years from 2022, or maybe now 4 years, if they come in 2027, for the U.S. government to prepare the people about what is up there. In many ways,
yeah. I have a feeling he's taking a bump when he's off camera, right?
I think the word got out within the government that they're showing up.
Some people believe that, yeah.
And we better be prepared. If not, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do.
Oh, somebody's going to have to explain.
So I think that dialogue has happened.
I'm going to pre-panic.
We need to prepare. That's why in 2017,
you're right,
set
John.
A clock of 10 years.
Clip those sniffs. I'm going to clip them all.
It would have been
got to get them all, Simon.
And why? 2017 to 20. Yeah, so. They're claiming they got the data in 2017. But this comes out on April 10th. It's only just a few months after I had said the same things, that I'm doing these prophetic works. I'd showed lots of examples.
So this is definitely the wackadoo prover maneuver. I said some wacky things, but I had no evidence of them. And then another guy said similar wacky things, equally with no evidence. So it all must be true. No,
videos that
it's
this
not
is accurate prophecy, and it comes out, just a few months later. They say, "Oh no, we were told back in 2017. It's nothing recent. We're way before that David guy. I don't know what he's talking about. No, it's 2027. So this is very, very strange because the
Isn't it funny? Like he's going to argue like who was right on the prediction of a mass ET visitation event. Well, you're both going to look like assholes when nothing happens in 2025 like that, and nothing's going to happen in 2027 like that. Mark your calendars.
Is that they want to get ahead of my story, they want to get ahead of Michael's story, and they want to act like it was theirs and they had it first. But then they also have to.
Oh, now John Ramirez is stealing material from David Wilcock because he's such a genius.
Add in disinformation.
You're both grifters
by 2 years, so it's not 2025 anymore. Now it's 2027. So Lou Elizondo apparently actually
profit with an F.
Find
Patty,
a hobby
yes.
for the next 5 years because it's all going to come out in 5 years. He said that this year, so that was 2027 is the time that they're saying it's going to happen. I've heard 2027 in an official capacity. I can't reveal how. People in the government are aware that something is going to happen. There's limited time. There's only a few more years to prepare the people. This is exactly.
So now we got 3 people that are going to look like idiots when none of this
work
happens.
In the comments, I mean, undoubtedly, you can probably see them in there right now. They hate me. There's somebody was talking about Q-tards. No. This is true.
I was in there talking about Q-tards. That was me.
Process this information, but it doesn't change.
Q-tard stuff is all fake, really David Wilcock. It's not real.
There are people right
Fantasyland you live
in an official capacity that they're expecting UFOs to return, mass landings in 2027. How is it that they released this just a few months after I say the same thing from an official ET source, and they only changed the date?
Oh, but David Wilcock's got an official ET source. I thought it was the Archangel Michael. Now it's from an official ET source.
That's very, very strange. That's what's wrapping up this acceleration from the previous 7 decades of not even acknowledging it to now acknowledging it at a faster and faster pace. Now, here's another really important thing. Now we're going to go into the Shadow of Ezra channel, which is on the
more Q-tard nonsense. That's what we're going into.
The, platform known as TG, Telegram. And
he's literally getting his information from Q-tard people posting on Telegram. Like, dude, if you are so desperate that you need to cite Q-tards posting on Telegram as evidence, then you've lost the plot, buddy.
Strange place to go. There's a lot of weird stuff there that doesn't seem like it's really true. But then you have certain insiders who are able to do secure communications there as well. And this would include Ezra Cohen Watnick or Ezra Cohen.
Oh, now he's got new insiders.
The channel got labeled fake.
Idiot.
The Ezra Cohen channel got labeled fake by Telegram, which is really ironic because it's not. And they made another one called Shadow of Ezra, and so that's where I usually am quoting from.
The space furries are coming.
Any other evidence of the posts, as we could call them?
I agree, John. I agree 100%.
Through comms coming from Trump and comms coming from people like Dan Scavino. That's about it. So it's kind of morphed now. You're not going to probably ever see the posts in their original location again, but this is the best thing we've got.
Yeah, because the Q-tard grift came crashing down. So there's no more Q-tard posts.
So again, if you look back at the main slide here, the military is training underground July 21st of last year. But for what? For what? Well, here it is. Check this out. And that's the wide shot, July 21st. Now I'm going to narrow it a little bit just so we can read it. It says U.S. military training underground.
Q-tard nonsense.
Military personnel were recently drilled in Exercise Warrior Shield, a subterranean exercise in South Korea designed to teach soldiers how to fight in caves, tunnels, and sewers, and how to breach buildings undetected.
Well, you know, that might be true, but now we got to assign some conspiracy bullshit to it, and here he comes. Here he comes to do just that.
It's been announced that the training is going on, that there could be a shadow war in which soldiers are actually going into buildings from the basement. Nobody even knows what happens. Evidence is possibly obtained during the night. They're grabbing evidence. They might even be grabbing people. Those people might be getting into a detainment hearing where they get some type of debriefing, and then they get released back into the world. But now they have gotten that briefing, and they're never going to be the same, because now they know that there is some secret orders that have been passed by the last administration that are stopping them from doing what
this
they're
is
doing
all Q-tard nonsense. Q-tard nonsense.
This was a very strong proof of concept that there is subterranean warfare going on, and I'll show you other evidence. It's ongoing.
Oh,
and you're gonna find out
man,
what's
they
going
just
on in these
invent-
underground tunnels. It's as bad as you think. believe
It's
me.
as bad as you
The
think.
next thing we're going to do, this one really freaked me out. I didn't even want to report on this, but here we go. July 22nd, they made another post on EC or Shadow of Ezra, and I'm going to narrow it once again. And this really kind of freaked me out. A few days ago, Donald Trump was given a Torah crown by the Israel Heritage Foundation. The mission statement is to await King David's descendant, our Mashiach, which is a word for Messiah, to rule over the land and bring peace to all nations. Trump is in the heart of the enemy. Well, wait a minute. King David's descendant. I mean, the whole point of the Michael prophecy.
Again, he's bringing in Christian mythology now.
I am the reincarnation of Edgar Cayce. You can see it in the astrologies we talked about last time.
He's not the reincarnation of anything. He's a grifter.
You can see it in the facial resemblance. There's plenty of good pictures online. Actually, a lot of them have been removed. I went trying to look for David and Edgar Cayce pictures, and there's a lot fewer of them than there used to be.
Because nobody
Start
cares.
updating my website again. My website's been completely scrubbed off of Google, as I've now discovered. Everything on my website is gone.
You can find it all from Wayback Machine.
But anyway, there are still a few David and Edgar comparison shots, and Edgar Cayce was a noteworthy psychic in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s when he really reached his apex. He died in 1945. He did medical readings, 14,000 examples.
He's so important.
People
Yeah.
having nothing but a time where they're supposed to be at home, and then he goes into a telepathic trance in Virginia or Ohio or Kentucky, wherever he is, and he diagnoses their medical problems with basically 100% accuracy, and he tells them who they were in their past lives. And so there was so much accuracy in the Cayce readings that the past life stuff was probably accurate too. And Cayce himself was told that he had been multiple historical figures, Pythagoras, Lucius of Cyrene, who wrote the book of Luke in the Bible.
So if David Wilcock is still claiming to be Edgar Cayce reincarnated, then he's also all these other famous people. Again, back to bloated sense of self-importance.
And the biblical King David, actually, as well as the guy who built the Great Pyramid of Giza, the classic Osiris figure.
I agree.
Wait
Miss
a minute.
Tessa Marie.
Let's take a look at this
It's
again.
nonsense argument.
Await King David's descendant, the Messiah, to rule over our land. Well, that's what my books are talking about, that I'm the descendant of King David. I'm the reincarnation of King David. Now, I'm not comfortable about this. When this came out, I got really, really...
Now he's
out
the
because
Messiah.
books
Listen to this
say
clown.
I am not to think about myself as a Messiah.
Now he's the Messiah.
is-
He's the second coming of Christ. He's
the
so
word that actually
important.
means humanity is awakening.
Come on.
Lots of people...
You're a lifelong New Age scammer. You're not the reincarnation of anything good. And you're certainly not the coming Messiah, you loser.
doing really important stuff. I'm not a savior figure. Don't pray to me and expect I'm going to come to you and heal you in your dream. Or
Now he's
something.
saying he's King David
Focus
now.
on the Christ,
Yeah.
Focus on Jesus. Focus on whatever religion.
He's the
works for
second
you,
coming of Christ.
not
He's
that.
so important.
But please don't try to transfer your God attachments onto me. That's not right. And so if somebody does ask me to take on a role like this, I don't really want to. On the other hand, part of what I'm doing here does appear to be political. So the important point is I'm not supposed to think of myself as anything special, and I don't.
He's going to be selling med beds soon.
And this post
Yeah.
wasn't exactly...
Well, I don't think
framing
of myself as anything special.
So,
I'm just a man with a 180 IQ, the messenger of the Archangel Michael, the reincarnation of Edgar Cayce, some other famous historical figures, and King David, and I'm quite possibly the second coming of Christ, but I don't think I'm anything important. Sure.
I think it's like telling everybody, just don't try to make David into anything funny. Just keep it down. Don't try to call him anything funny. Because again, in the books, Michael says that if I were to start thinking about myself this way, that I would die. I would actually be killed.
Well,
If
he's
I
already
started
thought of
thinking
himself
myself
this
as a
way.
Savior, I'm only a messenger. That's the whole point. You got to be a messenger. You're not the thing. The real thing is the conscious, intelligent universe. There's a oneness. There's a consciousness here. We're all a part of that identity.
Yeah.
I am above no one. I am below no one.
Stop
So
it.
if I do end up working with the next administration, whatever capacity, I don't want to be coming in as seeing as a savior figure, superior, or anything like that.
Did you hear that? If I do end up working with the next presidential administration, like any United States president is going to go, we've got a lot of problems in this country. Let's bring in that ancient aliens grifter guy who keeps getting caught selling completely and totally fake stories, fake insiders, and fake BS. Let's get that guy to work in our administration. He just said, if I'm invited to work with the next
I
administration.
just want to work with a team. I don't want to be put on a pedestal. So again, this really,
He's
really
so
freaked me
humble,
out because
yeah.
it's like, wait a minute, King David's Descendant is coming out on the sequel to the 17 posts. What the hell is going on here? They're talking about me. I don't know. It's crazy. So
He's
that was just another one of these really strange things. Here's another.
He looks like one.
Ascension and fighter jet communication. This came out on what was the date again? Because this one didn't have August.
Oh my
8th.
God!
Okay.
I think I
So
have to
August
fast
8th,
forward through the Q-tard.
and then it
It's
uses the
how
date
long?
August 8th, and it says.
Did anybody see this whole thing? How long is this just
actually
Q-tard
shows
nonsense?
F-35, I believe it is. And so this also was it had the Journey song.
Apparently, yeah. The plot is there's a lot of plot holes here, John.
Stand, worlds apart, hearts broken in two. So it's like, It's as if the Alliance was communicating to me saying they're sorry that they can't work with me because I've never met anybody in person at all. This has all been telepathic. It's very strange. But again, they said my key word, ascension. That's the David word, right? I'm the guy talking about that. And 8-8. Well, 8-8 ties in
Separate
with my
Ways,
original crop
the
circle
story,
synchronicity
not
in
Worlds
2008,
Apart.
as you can find by going to this link.
Jesus.
Yes, my website is still alive, even though Google won't show it to you anymore. It's there. You can go type in divinecosmos.com. Here it is.
Yeah.
So let's just read a little bit from this article.
Must be part of
from
that deep
2008.
state attack,
A
right?
surprising personal twist. I found myself involved in a prophetic sequence quite directly. It started with an image I edited.
Yeah, get Wilcock on the phone. The fate of the world is at stake.
On August 7th. Richard wrote the article. And
Get me
he
David
graphic
Wilcock,
art
says the
initially looked
president.
like this.
The president's going to call him
50-year-old
in. Shut up. He's the
Now, I don't
savior
know
of the
about
world.
I've studied a lot of graphic design. I've been in Hollywood. I've done professional television. There's two types of fonts. There's a serif font and a sans serif font. You are never, ever supposed to use a serif font like Times New Roman or anything that looks like this. What he did here, the text that he used here, you're never supposed to use that stuff in any motion graphics, in any title graphics. The serifs are the little doohickeys on the edge of the letters, okay? Why? Because typically it goes back to old television. Televisions are a little bit blurry. You can't read it very well. And if it's really small, you can't see it very well. So sans serif is a font like Arial, and the one that everybody's now using, which I pioneered in my movie Moment of Truth, is Futura Condensed Medium, FCM.
Oh, he's pioneering the use of
After I
fonts.
came out with that movie, just everybody in both sides of the political.
Oh, everybody's ripping him off and his
wonderful
wonderful use of
Richard,
fonts. Again with the ego, dude. Again with the
I made
ego.
it better. I actually used two different fonts.
Oh, he's recycling this
They're both
shit from a
sans
few
serif.
streams ago
You
too.
can see there's no
How
serif
desperate
on
is he
there.
for material?
And then the other main thing that
Look, I made a graphic thumbnail
background, I
19
added the
years
little man on the
ago.
moon. I added a strip of
He's the
space
font
behind it with a
messiah.
diagonal
Yes.
gradient fade. And then I added this figure 8 between the moon and the earth. So again, this was the original. Not too exciting.
He sleeps with a blow-up Wookiee named Spanky.
He didn't create any other eye motion or composition. So then when I did this, I added composition with the figure 8, with the man
Look,
on the
I'm
moon,
such a
the
genius
starfield,
with
and then I
graphics. I
removed
worked in
fonts.
Hollywood.
The very next morning, I awoke to see news of a new crop formation in Mill Hill, England. Had everyone very excited. They were calling it the 888 formation. in
Oh,
commemoration
yeah.
of that
Everybody
miracle
was so
Sunday. I
excited
hardly
about this
believed
crop
my eyes
circle.
when I saw it. Yeah.
How many dots
Flip
is
it
he going to
around
connect?
sideways.
Where is he going with this? We just went from I'm the new Jesus. I'm David reincarnated. I'm the savior of the world, and the Trump administration is going to call me, and I'm going to work with the next presidential administration if it's Trump. And I made some graphics. Oh, and there was a crop circle too. Like, this is all disconnected nonsense.
Again, this was, remember, the original post was a fighter jet. It's the Journey song Worlds Apart, and it says Ascension 88. This was a direct callback to the 888 formation that I had gotten. So check this out, right? Here we go. This is what it looks like from the side. This is what I was doing in my graphic. It's the same darn thing, folks.
Because he used a double circle.
And in that article,
It's not the same
I
thing.
discussed the seizure of a treasure trove of documents in the South Ossetia War in 2008. Nobody ever heard about this because it was classified. I found out about it from an insider source called
An insider source. Like all the sources turn out to be fakes and frauds. So what does the insider source say?
called TBR News, which I'd been studying by this point for many, many years.
TBR News is now an insider source.
Okay. Washington, D.C., September 1st, 2008. When the Russians chased the Georgians back into their own country, our government took great fright and ordered all American troops out of the area. Some of these troops took part in the attack on South Ossetia in Washington. They were afraid that Americans and Russians would start shooting at each other. As this could lead to immediate war breaking out between the two countries, this is, again, you don't want the proxy war to turn into a hot war, right? And as Russia has the ability to nuke us, unlike other small countries, we ran like frightened deer. Whoa. We also, look at this, we also left behind for the Russians all kinds of highly compromising documents, code machines, etc., keeping Russian military...
What does this have to do with him being the new Jesus? I'm confused.
Terror in the halls of the Department of State, the Pentagon, and the White House that terrible things from these documents could emerge. Whoa! This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. They captured documents, and right as they did it, the ETs drew these crop circles, a series of crops. If you go back and read my original article, there was multiple crop formations that gave specific dates that were almost exactly the date that these documents were captured. So the beings want us to see this as very, very important. Okay?
Why don't the beings just tell us what's
highly compromising
documents?
There's
always this
the truth about the deep state,
stupid
things they're doing,
back and forth, and you got to interpret it. This is psychic nonsense. That's what this is.
Could emerge. Guess what, kids? They will. Wow. So this was in 2008, and now it's all coming to a head. Now,
he's trying to do a video resume for his White House job. Yeah.
Timeline of 2023, last year, the day after the Ascension 8.8 message came out, Mar-a-Lago was raided to look for intel on the old 13848, which is an executive order. We've talked about this before. And this particular individual,
we're still on Q-tard nonsense. It's all still Q-tard nonsense from Telegram.
She's come out as an insider.
That's what his sources
really
are.
Amazing stuff. And her reveal was Mar-a-Lago was raided because they were trying to obtain the Presidential Emergency Act document. They wanted to find out what the hell is going on. What is the military actually doing? That's what that was all about. T declared 2 national emergencies before leaving office. Which
maybe if they needed like a shoe shiner
signed on to 3
or a toilet scrubber.
EOs.
Otherwise, I don't see him getting a job in the White House.
Very interesting. So what the heck is this thing? What is this thing? Well, here's the photograph of it from the National Archives, imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in the U.S., you know what? So sanctions means financial penalties. So this is one of the ones that's passed.
You're right,
it's on the
Willery.
books. You can go look it up. And it says that if you're involved in interfering, if you're a foreign or domestic person interfering in one of these cases where we're figuring out the country,
good point, A Ghost. So he says that the government raided Mar-a-Lago to get a document, but then he reads the document on a website and that document was public. So why would they raid Mar-a-Lago to get a document that's on a public website? Damn, David Wilcock, you done screwed up this time. You just said they raided Mar-a-Lago to get a document, and then you read it off a public website. Why would they raid someplace to get a document that's on a public website, David Wilcock? You can't. You're not smart enough to do this. You think you're so smart, but really, if you break down with even just a little bit of logic the things he says, it falls apart.
Subject to these sanctions, and again, it's not like everybody's going to know. They just seize your money. So we've heard from various briefings before that these...
Remember, he titled this stream, "A Positive Change is Coming Soon." Where's the positive change?
Funds may actually be repatriated.
They're going to seize our funds?
This
doesn't sound like good news to me.
Fascinating jubilee of some kind or some type of debt refinancing.
I agree, Flubberlane.
A lot of these stolen funds are inaccessible. So there's had to be a lot of, racketeering and money laundering going on in order to make up the difference. And we're seeing very large operations for creating money that can then be diverted from where the money is supposed to be going. And if you know what I'm talking about, good. If you don't know, then you got to think about some wars and
Yeah.
leave it at that.
How sad is it that people
Okay,
believe this
so the
guy
last
enough to
show
give
I
him
talked about the Roundway Hill
$333?
Crop Circle. This was August 23rd. It had again.
Now he's going to recycle the crop
the,
circles again. This is like the
Vegas
third
light.
stream he's showing this
Also
crop
looks like
circle
the sun, again,
nonsense.
saying, the
He's
ET
got
saying down to
nothing.
humanity, come on, roll the dice. That's people in the middle there, camping in the middle of this beautiful. How do these things appear in the middle of?
I don't know.
It's not any technology.
We're almost an hour in.
It was also.
I'm going to try to get to an hour and a half.
Snow
I'm going to try.
And it's beautiful. I mean, look at the perfection of the geometry here. And again, the point was roll the dice.
I agree,
take a
Will.
chance, and the symbol in the middle once
What's
again.
up, Daisy B? Thanks for being a
stylized
member.
image of the
Hey
Wicker Man
there.
formation.
Hey, chat, she
The Wicker Man
says.
formation we talked about in last week's show. I still haven't re-uploaded it. Hopefully
Yes,
I'll
he's
get
the
to that
main
early this
character
week.
of this long epic
It's really a
saga.
two-part
Yes,
show.
JJ. Thanks for being a
Wicker
member.
Man again is a movie from 1971.
Again with the Wicker Man
where there's a
nonsense.
cult on this
More
island. It's a horror
disconnected
movie that takes
nonsense.
guys
That doesn't
who
mean
have
anything.
for infanticide, ends up getting killed by them, and everybody in the entire island is in on it. They get him into a big parade. They march him into a wooden big man statue. It's like 20 feet tall. They set it on fire and they burn him alive, and he can't escape. He dies. So that's like the prototype of this concept of the deep state. That there's a lot more of them than you think, and they're working in collusion a lot more than you think. And again, it's right in our face. We can't get away from it. Then on August 28th, Ezra tells us that 13848 is expiring in, wink, wink, 17 days, right? So here's where he said that. And it says, notice on the continuation of the national emergency with respect to foreign interference in or undermining public confidence in U.S.Es. Okay.
More
So this
Telegram
is also pretty strange because
nonsense.
it didn't.
How many
expire.
hours
It
do you
got
think he spends on
extended.
Telegram looking
So
for
it
shit
appears
like
that the
this to
administration
share with
is
his
not in
idiot
control
followers? How
whether
dumb
this
do you
is
have to be?
expired or not? They actually renewed it
To listen to this
it's working
guy?
against them. So they're not really in control. Now, again, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. But then this was also very, very strange, where Jill gets an X in her picture. Now she's still obviously alive, so this isn't like any type of assassination. But it does appear that this was when she was given some type of briefing, September 4th, thereabouts, told what's really going on, put under some type of surveillance. I mean, this is real. This is serious. You don't have to believe me. I'm just pounding you with information about it, okay?
He's pounding us with fake
Then on
information
September
from a
7th
goddamn Telegram channel. This is pathetic.
They referenced 13848 again, and the movie V, the original television movie miniseries. So here's the two posts. V has come to, and then EO 13848 has been extended, blah, blah, blah. National emergency with respect to foreign interference. Well, again, why is V has come to so important? First of all, it's kind of annoying, isn't it? Because you'd want them to say has come true, but they don't say come true. They said come to. What are you guys doing here? What is this? Well, wait a minute. Okay. Come to where? What's the missing word? Well, the word would be Earth. They've come to the Earth. What is V? V is about reptilians. V is about negative reptilian extraterrestrials.
Or V could be about V for victory, rebellion against the deep state. It could mean 100 different things, but he's going to assign value and tell you what some cute-tard poster on Telegram really meant, right?
Coming to Earth and farming us for food and taking our water.
They're farming us for
That is,
food
in
and
fact,
taking
what
our
actually
water.
is going on.
That's really what's so
And
V's like a
it's all
documentary
gonna stop
now.
Very soon, you're only learning about it right before we can defeat them. So
V was a great show. I love that shit growing up. So I have it on my hard
We'll be
drive.
able to win this war. We are winning this war, and again, most of it is a proxy war.
Yeah, and you know what? Interestingly, I got the miniseries. I bought them, and then I bought the television show too. And I never finished it. I got about I think I have 4 or 5 episodes, and because towards the end of that, it started getting stupid, and the budget was low. The miniseries budget was much bigger, so those were better. V was a great show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. If you like science fiction like me, I think they did a great job on V. I was sad that the remake got canceled.
You don't see the beings in the background. You only see what's on the surface. But again, This was a very, very direct endorsement of everything that.
Yeah, it's insane that people are giving this guy money to compile nonsense from Telegram channels. That's what he's getting paid for.
The riggers are out at Twitter, and it says that T will return, and that the riggers are out. So,
You're right,
some people
Davina.
are really afraid of this. Now, all I can say is that if you haven't really studied this type of information I'm sharing with you now about the Alliance, about the posts, there has been such a...
This stupid argument that aliens are farming us for food, it falls apart very quickly because we are developing technology to basically grow artificial meat right now. We lonely ape humans, us hairless monkeys, are already developing technology to create artificial meat. So anybody saying that the aliens are coming here to eat us or steal us for food, it's a nonsensical argument, because if they've got the technology to cross vast star systems, then I'm pretty sure they're way far ahead of us technologically, and they would have already figured out lab-grown meat. So why go across multiple star systems to, eat some hairless monkeys when you could just make all the meat you want and stay home? It makes no sense. But don't let things like facts, science, and evidence get in the way of a good, stupid conspiracy story by a good, stupid conspiracy storyteller he's not a good one, like Mr. Wilcock here.
Concerted effort in television, in blogging, in independent videos. They're trying so hard to make you hate this man. And even now, I have a very hard time stepping into this arena because it's just, people get so emotionally charged about this. They're so afraid. Oh my God, if he gets back in office, it's the worst thing could possibly happen. It's the death.
It's old ladies, Solar Marshal.
2.0.
His whole audience is old ladies.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. But we're fine. Oh no, we're like really cool. And that other guy, yeah, just let's get rid of him. But we're really great. Well, no, you guys are not really great. There's a lot of really weird, crazy, horrible stuff going on. It's very upsetting. And
Alienation was fun too. I like that one.
Firepower on this one guy. They say, oh, we got to get you to hate him no matter what. He's so bad.
Yes, we already passed that part.
Out there, and
CG.
you haven't really studied this, and again, this is like getting a PhD.
Sad old ladies, yeah.
There's so much information to learn. It's beyond a PhD, really, in terms of the learning curve.
Yeah, his crowd is old ladies.
You don't have that learning curve. You haven't done this. You could do it. I mean, I'm showing you how, but you have to go through the steps yourself, and then what you'll realize is, oh, T is only a figurehead.
Aliens like organic produce, says Archaic Revival. Thanks for being a
and instead
member.
of talking about the larger thing, they're never going to say, oh, by the way, we hate that executive order. We hate the fact that they blocked our money. We hate the fact that they've trained underground things and they're coming into our buildings and grabbing stuff behind our backs. God damn it.
They always crash here.
Why are they trying to bring us down for interference? They're never going to say this. They're never going to tell you what's going on. Neither side is telling you directly. The positive side, the Alliance side, is only giving you this information through comms. So check this out.
The Alliance is such an important organization, and it's communicating to us through Q-tards posting on Telegram. I'm going to say that one more time. The Alliance is so important that it needs Q-tards on Telegram to communicate messages to the Q-tard masses, and they have to communicate their information through idiots like David Wilcock.
October 4th, and they're talking about the EMS. And it says there will be a nationwide emergency alert test sent to all TVs, radios, and cell phones at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. This is October 4th again. Well, so this is pretty strange. They're talking about there's an emergency messaging coming. Well, that's exactly what we've been told to expect.
Oh, emergency messages coming.
Probably most people are not going to lose power, at least.
Again with the 3 days of darkness. He's already said that this happened before. And I just want to take a minute to share with you this whole storyline, the mass arrests that he talked about, keeps talking about. It never happens. And he's gone as far with these mass arrests and the 3 days of darkness before. He's gone as far as saying it's already happened. It has already happened. So, at some point, you just have to laugh. I'm going to continue, but I'm trying to find it. Somebody posted on Twitter. Marcario, I know that's who posted it. I thought that I had retweeted it to share. Let me find that. In the meantime, we'll continue with his nonsense. But I'm going to show you a video from several years ago where he says the mass arrests already took place. So which is it? They already happened, or it's coming?
Cell phones. There's no internet access. Wi-Fi doesn't work. You might be able to use a landline telephone. You will be able to use radio, shortwave radio. So you might still want to have one of those if you like hearing things, hearing new information during that time. And I've talked in the past about certain shortwave, but basically, I would just be ready with something to read. You could get Michael Prophecies again. We've got
Hey, make sure you buy my $333 books before the big power outage comes, right?
This was October 4th. Now, 21 days later, just 3 weeks after the Alliance teases that they're going to use the emergency messaging system, we get Leave the World Behind, which is a counter-programming message. I talked about this the last time.
It's predictive program. It's basically a documentary. Yes, it's basically a documentary.
Julia Roberts becomes the most toxic racist imaginable, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, not mangling it. Mahershala Ali is the guy who is then told, never trust white people. So the whole show is about a mass blackout that, there's ships going bad, there's electric cars blocking the roads off. It's like the end of the world. There appears to be a nuclear war happening. There appears to be electromagnetic attacks on people. People's teeth are falling out. And Julia Roberts, at the end of the show, sits down to finally watch the last episode of Friends. It's a very gloomy ending. You get the sense that everybody's about to die. And there's some type of foreign invasion. They give you lots of clues that there's some type of foreign invasion.
Ooh.
So we're going to get back into that. I got a couple of
programming
coming up here. But
it must be true.
Wait a minute. This was produced by the Obamas. And people who downloaded the original file off of Netflix found that they had 4 audio files in it, 3 of which appear to have low wave frequencies in them. Now, that's something that's normally associated with mind control, behavioral influencing. So it's like,
now they're trying to mind control us. Oh, I found it.
Watched this movie, and she had absolutely no idea that this was anything other than a strictly fictional.
Did you catch that? He has a body worker. He pays a woman to work his body. What does that mean? That he has a paid masseuse? And isn't that gross? How'd you like that job, ladies in the audience? You got to rub this dude down.
Scenario. But again,
we're gonna cite fair use, and we're gonna share this. Remember, all this crap that he's talking about, the mass arrests, the 3 days of darkness, all of this, he pulled this all in 2019. And in fact, in 2019, he said the arrests already happened. So which is it? Did the arrests already happen, or are they happening soon? I'm confused. Because according to the timelines here, it's already happened. Why is this happening? Hold on. Let me see if I can't get this going. One second. Sharing video from Twitter is often problematic, but I'm going to try it again because this is important. He's already said all this stuff already happened. And remember, he promised that this stuff was happening.
Now, tribunals that are allegedly taking place, we have very good intel on this.
This is February 3rd, 2019, and he's talking about his intel back then, telling them the arrest already happened.
From multiple insider sources.
His multiple imaginary friends told him this. Or maybe it was Telegram Q-tards back then. Maybe it was Twitter Q-tards back then. Facebook Q-tards. Telegram wasn't really big back then.
If these arrests ever do happen, I'm their best buddy in some ways.
That they have arrested right now key people in the deep state. They already have tribunals going on in several locations in the United States.
If these arrests ever do happen, I'm their best buddy in some ways.
And apparently Guantanamo, there are prison barges taking people to Guantanamo.
You forgot you already pulled this grift. Or are you just recycling grifts, David Wilcock? You already pulled this. You said it already happened. February 3rd, 2019. Is this the second round of arrests? What's going on?
What they've done is they have started with the mid-level people who were directly involved in child trafficking.
If these arrests ever do happen, I'm their best buddy in some ways.
Yeah, that's where it gets gross, because he's claiming all these mass arrests has to do with child trafficking and child sex predators, right? It's the Q-tard grift.
Sealed indictments that we've been hearing so much about are being unsealed. People are being...
Anybody remember those things getting unsealed? I don't remember any unsealed indictments, but, you know, I don't know. Maybe the mass arrest really did happen. But he can't be right twice. So either he was lying in 2019 or he's lying on this current live stream we're reviewing. Which one is it, Mr. Wilcock?
Being put on trial in secret tribunals. These are military trials.
If these arrests ever do happen, I'm their best buddy in some ways.
Right.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. He can't even keep his own grift straight. He already did this grift. And of course, he was selling some other course back then, right? Nonsense.
As if they're trying to get ahead of what they think is going to happen. They're trying to get ahead of the blackout, ahead of the internet and phones going down.
Well, all this stuff already happened, but now he's saying it's still going to happen. So which one was it? Were you grifting and lying and giving completely and totally false information in 2019? Or are you grifting and lying and giving completely and totally false information here in 2024? Which one is it?
And make you really, really scared of it. So here's another reference to my work that EC came out with, this where he talks about the Great War. The Great War has started, a November to remember, October 27th. Well, by this point, I'd already read this to the audience.
Oh man,
they were responding to it.
Q-tards confirmed that I'm telling the truth.
What this is about.
This is so stupid.
Israel. You should know more about this. Their impeccable track record stands to tarnish yet once more. This is out of the Michael books, book 1. There are some of those things in life no one likes to talk about, but it is a necessity. A little bit of extra sparkle for you there. It's a little Easter egg. Please speak more on the Palestinians, I said. Beloved Israel will soon be falling into discord, as has been predicted.
Come on. The Israel and the Middle East have been a political hotspot and a source of turmoil, both political and war and whatever, since its inception right after World War II. So, you know, this is another fake psychic trick. Like, well, just speak in generalities. Like, Israel and the Middle East are always at war, so we'll just predict a war is going to happen, and then we can claim a win.
This is not as much a matter of concern as one of inevitability. Inevitability. Well, yeah, this was before it ever happened. The war.
Which war? There's been like 12 of them since World War II, you dummy.
Tempers will flare as the Great War approaches. This is exactly what we are seeing now. An escalating war involving Russia, Ukraine, China, Taiwan, and activity in Israel as well.
By the way, there were wars in the Middle East and Israel before 2024, between 97 and 2024. There were military conflicts or wars. So which war is he correctly predicting here? He's not predicting anything correctly. This is reaching.
So if you watched my previous show, then you realize that in May, in Italy, the crop circle makers created a formation that told us to look at October 14th solar eclipse. And a week before that is when the Israel-Palestine war started. This absolutely looks like a prophecy that Israel will be they're going to be attacked by the Palestinians.
Oh, wow. He correctly predicted that there would be chaos in Israel at some point after 1997. What a great prophet.
Allowed to be attacked.
This is so stupid. There's wars there every few years, you dummy.
Yeah.
Every couple of years there's a war in Israel.
Great war. So let's just go back to that again. It says the Great War has started. Okay, so boom, there it is. That's exactly what
the Telegram Q-tard channel said I'm right, and the angels are right.
You should know more about this. Their impeccable track record stands to tarnish. So this is not really a positive thing, but it is, you know, it's a warning.
Nostradamus.
And then again,
David Wilcock is Nostradamus.
Israel will soon be falling into discord, and many tempers will flare as the Great War approaches. So this again was them, the alliance was directly referring to something that I had already said.
Yeah, and this is where his own ego gets in the way. In 1997, I talked to an angel who told me a great war is coming. Well, think about all the wars that have happened on planet Earth since 1997. So which one is he predicting? He's going to tell you which one he's predicting, but how do we know? And this is so stupid. Yeah, a November to remember, but I already can't remember most of what happened that month. Me too, John. Yeah, that's funny, right?
In the Michael prophecies.
All right, we're over an hour now.
We have deterred this already from some of the prophecies that have been predicted, but alas, nobody's perfect. We are still trying from a promotional standpoint. I hope you get the point. And I said, in other words, you want me to promote these things? And they said, yes, precisely. So the key here, and it was Michael.
The angels want him to promote certain things. Why do angels need to promote anything? It's nonsense.
They predicted the Israel war before it came.
No, they didn't.
Months and months before, because
no, they didn't.
December, book 1, and the war didn't start till October 2023. So again, the Ezra Cohen post mentioned the Great War, which is exactly the phrasing that was in this prophetic reading. And the whole point in the Michael prophecy.
Man, is he coping hard to stay in his fantasy land where he's talking to angels?
So when the Israel thing first started, I got really scared. I didn't know how big it was going to get, but it's maintained a containment where it is not turning into World War II.
You're right, JJ. Thanks for being a member.
Apparently, according to Michael. So we're very glad that this did not happen. But here they are saying Great War has started, a November to remember.
You're right, Patty.
I already talked about this before. The Hatherton Lane.
How dumb do you have to believe that this guy's actually predicting the future?
Had the bat signal in it in a wicker basket formation.
And let's just take this for a moment. He predicted in the year 2000 we'd all get light bodies and superpowers. He predicted a huge solar flash event where we'd all get superpowers again in the year 2012. He predicted all of this Q-tard nonsense and said that the mass arrests already happened. He's been wrong about everything. But we're supposed to believe that an angel is giving him secret prophetic information, and the angel wants him to put it behind a $333 paywall. We just saw him show that the angel said, we need you to promote this. And he said, okay, I'll promote it by putting it behind a $333 paywall. Does this make any sense? Of course not. Back to the crop circle nonsense.
So we zoomed in on the middle, and again, these balls are all part of that wicker basket thing, which again ties back to the wicker.
David Wilcock thinks a lot about balls. I'm just going to put that out there.
Man, 1971, a movie about an entire satanic cult on an island where they're all in on it and they're going to kill anybody that goes against them. That's the deep state. Their island is really perceptual. The island is only a metaphor. They exist on the whole world. Okay, so as I talked about in my last video, please go back and watch it if you didn't. And I'll have the re-upload ready in just a day or two.
Oh, he's going to re-upload it with
in the middle. It looks
extra.
like the Batman signal.
That's not a bat signal. It doesn't look anything like a bat signal. He's just making shit up to fit his nonsense.
I this. Dan Scavino published a video of
another Q-tard trumper. That's who he's citing.
All rolling out in a
Q-tard trumpers on Telegram. That's his sources.
This image of the bat.
Yeah, Snorkel, Archangel Greedy.
Last time I only showed you a few of these. People were like, oh, I don't know if I believe David, but wait a minute. The King David thing, the bat signal. There's so many. And then here was another one that really blew me away. I really
he's easily blown away
trippy experience
by nonsense
because this is what Dan Scavino posted. And I'll just widen it a little bit.
You're right, John. He convinced the angel to sell this shit.
Within 2 years, 1980 refrigerator. I will outlive you and everyone you love. I am eternal. I am time itself. This is very, very funny, folks, because I've complained about it in my Michael books. I've complained about it in my videos, and I'd already complained about it several times by November 5th, 2023. I have a Sub-Zero refrigerator upstairs. It came with the house. It's got the compressor at the top, and it was built open. So there's no baffling of the sound at all. And so this refrigerator has been driving me out of my mind. I have to try to avoid refrigerator noise in every way that I can because it drives me freaking crazy.
Well, why don't you take some of your ill-gotten gains and just buy a new, quieter refrigerator? You know, it is interesting though. I remember once I was on a set of a film and they had to shut the refrigerator off for several hours, and there was some concern because they were sort of being lent to home by a homeowner. But anyway, yeah, sometimes you get a noisy refrigerator, and if you're trying to do production work or audio recording, video, streaming, you got to shut it off. But this guy is collecting millions of dollars by several accounts. Why can't he just buy a new refrigerator? Now we're going to hear him cry because the refrigerator's so loud, it's driving him crazy, kind of like those smoke detectors, right?
I have a sensitivity to high-pitched noise. He goes, oh, it's got this sound. Oh, my God. And I've talked about it extensively. I could not believe it when they're talking, because this was immediately after something that I had.
Oh, now he's predicting the future because somebody posted a meme about old refrigerators, and he's got a refrigerator that is too loud. His house was built in 2001, and he still has the original fridge for over 20 years. If the compressor is making noise, just replace it. Sub-Zero fridges are a luxury brand. Good point. And he's crying about it. His $1 million mansion has a noisy refrigerator, John. It's terrible. My life is awful.
My communications, I tried to get the darn refrigerator replaced. I haven't been able to find anybody to do that for me. I don't have the money either, frankly.
He doesn't have the
also
money
just
for a
trying to find a way
refrigerator?
to lower the sound, and I wasn't able to do that either. So I was very, very frustrated. I was really upset about the refrigerator, and then they put this out there, like just trying to get me to take it easy and laugh about it.
They put this out there as if people are posting memes to directly communicate with David Wilcock. I think he's ready for the rubber room, friends. Yeah, this is ridiculous. And as John correctly points out, if you've got $1 million house and Sub-Zero refrigerator, that's a luxury brand. And he's complaining. Now we hear him say he doesn't have the money to buy a refrigerator. I don't even know. What does a refrigerator cost? I have no idea. These are things that like my wife would take care of. I'm just going to put refrigerator in Amazon. Yeah, you can get a new refrigerator for $300, a small one, compact. I don't know. They don't really sell really big ones on Amazon. Oh no, there's one for $1,300. One of those double-sided door ones with a door on each side for $1,300. You don't have $1,300, Mr. Millionaire, right? I guess you have the grift isn't going so well if you don't have $1,300 to buy a refrigerator because your refrigerator is apparently driving you so crazy. Welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock. But meanwhile, he just bought a very, very expensive camera. That will show you where his priorities are.
It's very, very, very peculiar stuff, folks. Next on the list is November 16th,
Thank you, Davina. We always count on a woman to let you know how much appliances cost.
Black Swan event. Let's. It says bank run, bank layoffs, Black Swan, November 16th. Now, what is this all about? Well, the Black Swan
More sniffing.
is something that Catherine Herridge got fired for, and then they wanted to maintain all of her documents. They wouldn't give her the documents back. She said on network.
I bet it comes with a PQ dispenser. Ew, Stormcrow.
Is not usual. Normally they're white. The black.
He gave all of his money to Beskar. Quite possibly.
Black Swan specifically means unpredictable, catastrophic, large-scale events. Usually financial.
I don't think ever.
Some type of financial collapse. It's kind of amazing that there hasn't been more of that already. Bank runs, bank layoffs, Black Swan. Okay, but
we want to thank, by the way, Sandy Smith for being a member for 16 months. Thank you for your support all this time, Sandy. Longtime show supporter. We appreciate you helping us to praise the cash. And Sandy Smith says he's begging for super chats to buy a new fridge. You got to laugh. You just got to laugh. Thank you, Sandy, though, for helping us to praise the cash. I don't need a new fridge, but we do need a new oven installed. We finally got the oven. We have one of those ovens, Sandy Smith, that's like, it's not an oven on the bottom with the range on the top. It's just an oven that goes in to like a shelf and the range is separate. And that's a big nightmare. My wife finally found one, but we still got to put it in. But thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
So everybody's aware, if you become a member during the live broadcasts, we give you a big shout out and a thank you. Every single super chat we read and thank every single person. Thanks for all the support, friends. And again, what are we doing here? He's still Q-tarding. Like, how much more of this is Q-tard? It's all Q-tard nonsense. Oh, he's going to show his G.I. Joe toys again at 124. So I guess we'll. Oh, let's just keep going.
This is again telling us expect that you're going to see some really heavy financial stuff before this is over. We already are. So I talked about how the plan started with JFK. The plan meaning this plan in the 1950s, even before JFK, Eisenhower era, to arrest the deep state, to stop, bad things from happening. So they put a Q code in the actual burial site of John F. Kennedy, and they're showing you this in the post from November 22nd.
More Q-tard nonsense.
John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas, and then what you see is from Google Maps, it says President John F. Kennedy grave site. And so, sure enough, there is a very obvious Q in the layout on the ground. Whoa, ho, ho. Now, what in the world is this?
It's called a coincidence.
Like what I got behind my head here, right?
It's called a coincidence.
Those in there, boom, we got it. Okay, it's kind of the same thing.
No, it's not.
Well,
it's not the same thing.
Q is a letter that represents top secret clearance communications, and so even back then,
no, it represents BS. That's what it represents now.
Future marker for our time that Kennedy was involved in this. If you liked Kennedy, you liked John F. Kennedy, well, guess what? This was his dream. He tried to do it with Executive Order 11110. Let's stop them from selling off all the silver and issue silver notes that are not from the Federal Reserve. Well, he got stopped on that. But they knew in the future they were going to succeed, and so that's why they did this. Then, on November 29th, we had Henry Kissinger die, and they showed him with a cross out on his face during the November to Remember.
Yeah, the guy's like 90 years old.
In some cases, people are still alive. In some cases, they're not. And again, the cross out seems to be that they are, whoever this is, has now either been taken out of the game, or they've been given the briefings about.
Or he was 90 and he died, David Wilcock. Sometimes people just die, especially when they're 90.
Don't want to. Probably for very strong reasons. Then on December 4th, they talk about solar changes in this post here.
Oh my God, with the solar changes.
14 seconds, and it just shows the sun with this very curious
so far
boot-shaped image on it. And I thought
so far this guy's entire stream, an hour and 8 minutes of this, has been sharing Telegram Q-tard posts.
This was curious because
it
looks like Italy.
This is where we're at.
And
he's doing an hour sharing Q-tard Telegram posts.
Italy is the hub of a lot of strange stuff, including where the Vatican is and the original spiritual center of the deep state. So it's almost like the sun, because before the sun showed a smiley face. I don't have a slide for that, but there was a very interesting smiling image of the sun that really, to me, was an example of the conscious universe. And then you get this Italian boot. And again, I think what it's showing is the center of the deep state, having been in Italy, having been in the Vatican, it's all being exposed. The sun is exposing it to you. It's right there. The next one they did was on December 9th, and they warned that there was some big event coming.
And nothing happened. Yeah.
Somebody said Kissinger's bottom. I want to read some of your comments now. People said Kissinger's bottom lip is rocking. Q from Star Trek is not to be trusted. Okay, the Q in Star Trek is very different. The Q will.
Yeah, that's different fiction. Yes, that's different fiction.
But anyway, somebody said that his lower lip was crazy. His bottom lip is rocking. Diana has a Q at her gravesite as well. He looks like a bachelor who cleaned up, worked hard to do this live for us today, and that's sexy and smart, my friend. I don't know. Some people don't like the way I look. Some people don't like my humor. Whatever, it's fine. I think a lot of people have difficulty with this information, especially when I connect so many dots at once.
Oh yeah, it's not that we think it's nonsense. It's that we're having trouble digesting because he connects so many dots.
So the next thing I want to talk about is this event that was called Winter, and this really freaked me out because I didn't know, but what Winter meant. This is when they're actually going to do the arrests, folks. So I was really, really freaked out on December 9th when this came in. It said 12-day, and it didn't say days, it said day. And that also made me wonder. And then till they missed a letter on that. So you got a missing S and a missing L, LS.
Yeah, so December 9th, 12 days until the mass arrests begin. Does anybody remember mass arrests right before Christmas? Because I don't.
SL, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the hell are they trying to tell us here? What is this really saying? But
it's Q-tard nonsense. You should know that by now.
Again, they very clearly say winter is coming and no planes. So winter is coming obviously comes from the idea of the storm in Game of Thrones, the HBO television series. At the end of the show is when the winter shows up, and it's this big, big winter, and it causes a lot of damage. So winter is coming is like the storm. The storm is coming. Ah, that's right. The storm is coming. Yeah, that's what I think it's talking about. No planes? What do you mean no planes? Well, I think the idea is that, you know, it's dangerous to fly. You don't want to fly at all. So I have not been on any air flights.
So he's sharing a failed prediction of mass arrests.
And again, it says
that never happened.
Day till winter begins. Well, you add the 12 to
you got to do some bullshit to get it to be right.
Something big is going to be starting on December 21st. And I will talk momentarily about what did and did not happen. But again, how do we know but what winter didn't mean that's when they're going to start arresting people? And I think they faked out the deep state and got them to do some crazy stuff as a result of this.
He already said that.
So then the next one that we saw was on December 16th, where Tucker Carlson goes public and says the UFOs have a really dark component.
It goes from Q-tard to Tucker.
He doesn't fully understand. Well, what is spiritually dark? And we know Tucker's a Christian. That's Satan, the devil, demons, right? Yeah.
How do you know what he was talking
about? What the truth is and what's really going on, you're going to find out.
Maybe Tucker Carlson was talking about the darkness around UFOs and aliens are grifter scumbags that lie to people for money. Maybe that's what he meant by the darkness around UFOs.
Visiting us the whole time. And a lot of Christians used to think that if they're into this stuff, they think, oh my God, all ETs are evil and bad. No. The ones in the flying disc, the ones that showed up for the snow circle in the 1400s in that Miracle the Snow painting.
In the painting of rocks. Yeah. It wasn't saucers. It wasn't flying saucers. It wasn't UFOs. It was rocks in that painting.
For Saint Germain, the ones who showed up, that Saint Germain drew that image of the UFO they came in.
Oh, so if they show up in a round UFO, then they're the good guys.
In the book Micromagos, he commissioned that illustration. This is the flying saucer. This is who they are. They're not evil. Okay, Saint Germain was not evil.
That's what they want to kill us and eat us. Wouldn't that make them evil?
Here on Earth.
And he previously said that Greys come in the round-shaped craft and they drink human smoothies, but they're the good guys. Okay.
Talking about a really dark, evil spiritual component in the UFO thing. And it became the #2 top story on Gateway. So there you go. Then on December 31st or somewhere around there is when I found this. They actually posted it earlier, but they mentioned the UAPs again. They showed this map of the reported UFO sightings, and they're almost all in America. So something did happen during Roswell. The Alliance is the part of our government that has that technology.
Something happened at Roswell, and the fake Alliance, my fake insider, made up this fake group and told fake stories about for years. They have the Roswell technology. The source is a con artist who ran pump and dumps stock scams, who was a fake government insider for David Wilcock. That's his source here.
And they broke away from the elected governments for the most part. Trump was chosen by the Alliance to run for president. He was not political. They did not want a politician. And they needed somebody who had enough money that he could finance his own campaign. We had extensive briefings that he was dragged in for a 2-week set of meetings.
He's having briefings about high-level presidential politics. Who says, you know what, we know a lot about what's about to happen with the presidency. We better brief that ancient aliens D or E or F list celebrity who talks about ancient aliens on the History Channel. We better call him in and brief him with some top secret information. He's getting briefings. Sure he is.
Not want to do it at first, and they told him, look, you know, this is what's going on. There's this evil happening. Children are being hurt. Do you want to help us? And it took them 2 weeks to convince him, but then he went all in. And I guess this was somewhere in maybe 2015. Up until that point, they were thinking about doing something that was more direct, perhaps more like a coup. I don't really think that's what this is. It's going to be all done legally and ethically. So then I want to show you another comm that came in that I found interesting, where Trump said we're going to have a fantastic year.
A comm. What he's calling comm is Q-tards posting on Telegram. Let me just make that clear. He's calling these special comms, and he's getting them from Q-tards who haven't let go of the Q-tard grift yet, who are still posting Q-tard grift nonsense on Telegram.
On New Year's Day. And here's the link to that. We're going to have a fantastic year. And then I inserted the note. Doesn't it all sound like
briefings equals talk to a random guy on the bus?
By then the year's over.
Yeah. Or an imaginary friend.
Going to hell, he says, and we are going to turn it around pretty quickly. So this is one of many, many comms. I just wanted to give you a few where they keep saying something's going to happen quickly. It's not going to be November. The year
it's not banned on Telegram.
No,
Fluff
if they're
Force
trying to destroy
1.
everything, if the DS is trying to destroy everything, and it takes all year just to get to the election, and then 2 more, 3 more months before there's an inauguration, that's not a fantastic year. And what do you mean turn it around quickly? That's not, quickly is not a year. Quickly is fast. So again, it's right there in front of you.
You're right, Stormcrow, probably.
He's going to say one thing, and then he's going to actually say other things. He's going to say,
vote
for me in November, da-da-da. Of course he has to say that. But then there's these things in between, the layers of the sandwich. The truth is always sandwiched between 2 lies. That's one of the things that Uncle Jack always
Random guy on the bus equals a briefing.
Anyway.
Yeah. He talked to a homeless guy at 7-Eleven.
Because after he says
he
it's
got
all going to
briefed.
happen quickly, there's weird explosions in New York. And this takes place on January the 2nd. Now, what in the world is this? Police initiate emergency response after reports of booms and shakes on Roosevelt Island in New York City. And so here's the links, and then I'm going to read you another one. Just in, Roosevelt Island, Manhattan experiences widespread power outages following a series of explosions from manholes in New York City. And then Daily Mail reports on it, but they only say there's 3 of them. I think there was more than 3 because it said the series. But major emergency response as 3 booms and shakes are felt on New York's Roosevelt Island.
So
firefighters are urgently.
So some Q-tard posts a prediction, and then he runs around trying to connect something to the prediction. That's all this is. It's coincidental nonsense.
Trying to find the source as they probe manhole fires. Now, let's see. What were we just talking about before? We were talking about the idea.
I forget. I'm getting loopy listening to this nonsense.
Underground warfare. They were training in South Korea. I read you that slide, right? We saw all that. And they can breach buildings undetected, and they're saving children who are being trafficked. That appears to be what's going on. So this appears to be, again, a major, major center for this stuff that got blown out by, again, the previous quote said, a series of explosions. And there's another example of this that's happened more recently. So this is not just like a one-off thing. This is, again, an example.
Yes, this is a one-off thing. Some Q-tard posted something on Telegram, and then I found something that may be what he was talking about after the fact. Why didn't you warn everybody of the explosions in New York City before they happened? Earth's greatest prophet.
Find out ever since the inauguration 2020, they've been doing this. They've been breaching various buildings. They've been saving people from secret underground facilities.
Big pit stains.
Regular military personnel sworn to secrecy. You're never going to hear about this, but that's what's going on.
Definitely. Needs better deodorant, too.
So the headlines on January 6th revealed this underlying story once again. White House wasn't aware.
Still no proof.
Defense Secretary Austin was hospitalized.
Thank you, Richard Warner.
And then we have Brett Weinstein.
The Galactic Alliance is having a summit.
The death toll of a global war. Now, what's going on with this defense secretary thing? Well, there was another EC post where they showed his picture being crossed out with an X again. Now, he's obviously still alive, but he was disappeared for days at a time. They didn't know where he was. That's because he was getting a briefing. That's because
he was having medical problems, you dummy. He wasn't getting briefed. He was in the hospital.
Really big and really nasty. And they stopped him and they arrested him, and now he's under this sort of
I think a little bit of both, Sandra
pre-trial,
McDonald.
arrest phase, where
Little
you know
both.
he's already been given the briefings, he knows what's going on, and he can't say anything yet.
Yeah, basically,
Because
just
whatever
cute
happens in the
nonsense.
future.
Yeah.
So,
And even Corey Good
by
said the
January
alliance
7th,
lost, but David
2024,
Wilcock
there's a
hasn't given it
massive
up yet.
nationwide weather disruption going on that they called gobsmackingly bananas. The weather models predict the polar vortex invasion. Sure enough, we got hit by this thing really bad. The whole entire country
He's looked
was
worse.
thrown into a deep, deep freeze everywhere. There was no way that anybody could be arrested.
Oh my God, we
I
had
think
winter. We can't
21
arrest
days till
everybody.
Winter begins, or 17 days till winter begins. It started on December 21st. No time was given, but I think the DS was so worried about a pending arrest that they actually did create this massive weather disaster.
Oh my God. So the deep state was worried about the mass arrests happening after some Q-tard on Telegram predicted it. So they got weather modification technology and created winter. Oh, they couldn't do the mass arrest because it was cold, because it was winter. This is so nonsensical, childish This is like listening to an 8-year-old tell fake stories for an hour and 19 minutes. I think an 8-year-old would be more entertaining,
Again,
honestly.
Creating a big weather disaster can be done. In our new movie Levitation coming out, we got Michael Herrera who testified on these.
Yeah, he's teaming up with the Greer grifters.
weather
Great.
modification technology. We have his whole testimony in the new movie on that. And this is what apparently happened with Maui. These green lasers that they talk about.
Michael Herrera wasn't the weather guy. That was Hecker.
Some of them are coming from Antarctica.
He's got the wrong Greer grifter.
Sure enough, it ended up wiping us out for like a whole week. Everybody in America.
Yeah, he's going to do a conference with him. We're going to
then,
talk about that
on
before we
January
wrap up.
7th, as I said, let's go back to the slide now. Secretary of Defense showed up with a cross out. So that's, again, no, he's still alive, but they gave him some information just like before we saw with Jill. Then on January 8th, they mentioned this life insurance thing again. That's supposedly a file that was on a laptop, one of the seized laptops, that has very nasty stuff in it, similar to what they seized in the South Ossetia War in 2008. Same kind
Thanks,
of thing.
Jester X. Have a good night.
Then they showed us this. January 13th, it was a posting saying that Disease X is nothing new. Because, oh my God, wait a minute. Disease X Act of 2023 in the 118th Congress of 2023-24, they said everything was planned in advance. Now, do I believe there's going to be something like this? No. They've said that the labs that they could have done this with have been shut down. They don't have enough material to make this work. I've got
now he's pushing health crisis conspiracies. More Q-tard nonsense.
Around his motions.
Oh
Sure
boy,
enough, by
Hunter's
January
laptop.
14th,
Yes.
this massive cold snap is going across America. It's catastrophic. Below zero temperatures, blasts of Arctic snow, air, and ice. So this again could have been where the DS is trying to use weather control to make it impossible
Oh my God.
for the winter.
Oh, let's make it really bad winter so they can't arrest us. We're the deep state.
Operation if they thought that it meant arrests from actually happening. And I did too, frankly. I was all freaked out. I wasn't ready to go public at this point. I'm watching all these things going, wow, where is this going? Then on January 15th, Tucker comes out and talks about another thing that I'd mentioned in the Michael prophecies. Solar activity can kill our electronics. If there was a big solar burp or solar flash, it could kill 90% of the population within the year. This again ties into the Chinese weather balloon thing. It ties into electromagnetic pulse attacks that could be done just from a nuclear bomb being exploded up in the high altitudes. And the shock wave that it causes actually causes electronics to melt down. They mentioned the Carrington event, which I think was 1836, where all the telegraph wires melted from a massive solar flare. And Dennis Quaid, of course, also starred in The Day After Tomorrow, which was a movie about this very type of catastrophe. Which
Yeah, it was a movie about an apocalypse movie.
That he'd want to warn everybody about.
There was apocalypse movies are popular.
It's going to happen soon. This comes from Trump on January 16th.
And he's going to tell you exactly what it
he says,
means.
I really think this is the time now for our country to come together. Whether it's Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, It would be so nice if we could come together and straighten out the world,
Exactly.
straighten out the
Exactly.
problems, and straighten out all the
Thank
death
you
and
for that.
destruction that we are witnessing. Well, yeah.
Day after
that's
tomorrow
the plan.
tie-in. Yes.
That's what the plan is. We're going to straighten everything out. We're going to come together. And again, the best resource the DS has is to try to make you absolutely pathologically hate this man, that you think if anything happens involving him, it's like the worst thing. Oh my God, we're all going to die.
Good evening, Al
What if it's
Warrior.
exactly
Thanks
the
for being a
opposite?
member. Long-time
What
show
if a lot
supporter.
of the
Good to
stuff
see
they've
you.
said about him isn't even true? They're making all these stories up. They're making up the accusations, and it's not even true. Let's read more of this quote, though.
It's making me sick. How much more do we got to go through?
Together, straighten out the world.
7 more minutes. We can make
It's
it.
never been like this.
We can make it. 7 more minutes of this nonsense. And then I can shut this idiot off until tomorrow. I guess we're going to do a part 2.
It happen soon. Soon is not
Soon?
a year. Soon is not November election.
Soon.
Please
Soon.
stop saying November election.
Oh, so now he's
Put all this
saying
data
that
together
the
at once.
mass arrests are going to happen before the November election. So just so everybody's aware, we've got 2 hard and fast dates that we can call bullshit on this latest batch of his prophetic nonsense. If mass arrests do not happen before November, even though he said the mass arrests already happened in 2019 and people were getting court-martialed or military tribunals at Guantanamo, and there were prison barges going to Guantanamo with all these people that were mass arrested, even though he said it already happened. No, it's coming again, or it didn't happen before, I lied, and now it's going to happen. And then the other hard and fast date is we have to see an alien invasion or mass ET contact event by 2025, or he's full of it again. Does he think I haven't saved copies of him saying this stuff? Because I have.
So we can stop jerking around here and acting like it's going to be a year from now, because it's not. It's right around the corner.
It's right around. It's always right around the corner. These mass arrests are always right around the corner.
10 months.
Even when he lies and says they already happen.
He's going to say that sometimes, but he has to, because you can't just openly talk.
What
about
happened
it
next
all the
week?
time,
Wow, the
okay?
fear makers, crazy. Yeah.
This was another one that was really, really fascinating. It seemed to be a direct communication to me, where they posted an F-22 jet in flight, and it was 39 seconds long. Check this out.
Now you got to use numerology to push your nonsense.
Posted this. I didn't get his original post, but again, it's 39 seconds long. Now, why is that important? That is important because if I have it here, do I have it here?
Oh, he's going to get his G.I. Joe toys out. Oh, he's going to get his G.I. Joe toys. He's going to get his 3D printed G.I. Joe fake airplane
This
toys
is our
out.
SM-39, folks. And, maybe people don't like the fact that I've got a high technology military company. Okay. But yeah, this is our SM-39.
No, you don't have a high technology military company. You have what has been called a Ponzi scheme and investment scam, fake aerospace company that has been accused of scamming its investors and scamming its creditors out of money. That's what you have. You don't have a high-tech military company. And somebody posted a video of an airplane that's 39 seconds long, and this is my fake aircraft, the SM-39. So this is important. No, it's not. It's a coincidence. Somebody posted a video with 39 seconds, and you talked about a fake airplane that your company will never make. By the way, his aircraft company has been in business for more than 20 years. They've never produced a single product or service in the aeronautics industry. None. Their only income is from a garbage dumpster company that is renting the hangar that David Wilcock was supposed to produce hover cars in more than 2 years ago.
We've already designed it. The engineering is already finished. This is going to be the best, fastest jet ever
Yes,
made.
I 3D printed
We actually have
my
a partner right now who
buy
wants
my
to
hover
develop
car.
this, and we're going to make sure the U.S. has it first. These bulkheads are actually very important in achieving a higher speed. If you have all the shock hitting the front of the jet, then you have a lot of stress and wear and tear. So this absorbs.
Now he's an
shock, which is
aeronautics
very important.
expert. He's an
And also we
aircraft
have these
design
engines
expert, in
run
addition
the
to being an
entire
expert on
expanse from
everything
top to
else.
bottom. The exhaust outlets are back here.
And by the way,
This
he
is the
stole
SM-39.
design.
39 is the key number.
I think
for
he
this plane.
stole this design from Buck Rogers. Remember the spaceship that Buck Rogers fighter. I love it. It looks a lot like it. Okay, here, yeah. Buck Rogers. He got it from Buck Rogers, friends. Look at that. Buck Rogers. He got it from Buck Rogers. It looks a lot like the Buck Rogers one, right? It looks a lot like Buck Rogers' spaceship. This is how ridiculous this man is. It's just totally nonsensical.
My own 3D printer here at the house. This is our Mach 4 fastest, most badass. It's like the bat plane, right? It looks like something Batman would be flying in. This is the SM39. So
yeah, so he's got a 3D design that he printed. Basically, he's printing toys and calling them
39
prototypes.
seconds, and then they show us. Let's see if I can get back to that slide. Yeah, 39 seconds. It's the same model number, and they're showing us the F-22.
And that
Once
means
again,
nothing,
wow,
David
is the
Wilcock.
Alliance speaking to me, and I think they
Oh,
are.
the Alliance is
Now, this
speaspeaking
next
to
one is
him.
Very, very odd. They
Because
flag
some
the
cutard is posting
man in
video
the shadows.
shit on
They
Telegram.
say, wait until you find out who the man in the shadow is. I really don't have any idea what this is supposed to mean, but I like to speculate.
Bat
What if
plane.
it's a human
Yeah.
extraterrestrial? What if they're still in contact with human ETs and this one just happens to be bald and tall? He seems to have a really strong, really well built.
Now Trump is hanging out with aliens,
Probably
right?
a
Oh my
body-
gosh.
bodybuilder type. But again,
Two grifter guys, one
wait
cup.
until you
Yes.
find out who the man in
3
the shadow. I
cups.
mean, you could speculate on this any way you want. But in my movies and in my books, I've talked about the idea that we could be going through.
Yes, I think
There's
so.
human ETs
The
that are
real
already here
Wayne.
now
The
that are
real
already giving
Wayne.
briefings, the positive angelic ones, already giving briefings to members of our government. That might be what we're actually seeing.
Oh,
Again, I'm gonna
sure.
Zoom in even closer.
Yeah,
Just so
Trump
you
is
get a
getting
sense of
briefed by
like, okay.
Trump is getting briefed by extraterrestrial aliens.
Yeah, what
Sure.
in the world is going? I mean, that's one of the most interesting ones because we just have no idea. Another sign that there's some big plan going on is January 19th. We're hearing that China's economy is hitting rock bottom. They've even suspended short selling after losing $6.3 trillion on the market.
Yeah, people's economies change. Again,
Market-
he's just assigning
I mean, this is
his own
clearly
meaning
in
to
free
world
fall.
events.
Something big is getting ready to happen. They're very concerned. And then on January 22nd, again, we got this image born in desperation from Soros, where it's a bullet hole and it's 47. And if he got reelected, he'd be the 47th president of the United States. So it's very obvious who they're threatening here. And again, $17 is face up. And then we know what the number 17 is.
Again, random posts on the internet. He's assigning meaning
Next
to
one
it.
that was really interesting.
I really think this guy's cracking up. It looks like everything he sees on the internet, he thinks it's about him and his grift.
Came out on February 3rd, where Luis Elizondo fed into the whole narrative I've been talking about, where he says we are not at the top of the.
Okay, so now he's sourcing a fake Pentagon program director who never ran a Pentagon program. Earlier, he was using Richard Hoagland. Before that, he was using Frank Stranges and the fake Valiant Thor. The only thing he has for sources are fake people with fake stories.
Food chain. So in this little video clip, again, Vicky Verma, he's posting every day.
Yeah, and Vicky
That's everything we're
Verma,
told about
Vicky
what we are is
Verma
not
posts
entirely
the most fake UFO and alien nonsense you've ever seen. All the guy does is spend all day posting fake alien nonsense. And David Wilcock is directly using him as a source. Go look at his account. Any fake UFO story or alien story, he's posting it. And David Wilcock is using that person as a source.
Accurate.
Such good
Ask
quality
about
information
human
sources he
ancient
has.
Extraterrestrial aliens who came here from elsewhere. So we were not born on Earth. The human body was brought here. And again, in this video, he very clearly, Luis Elizondo very clearly states, we are not at the top of the food chain. So it once again sets up the whole Michael prophecies narrative, negative extraterrestrials, very scary, dangerous stuff.
Oh, it's so scary.
Next slide.
It's so
is where they
scary.
say
I don't
9
know what I'm
months
going to
is a
do.
long time.
I'm so scared.
Trump said this. So again, it's like, well, our country's a mess. Our borders are open and insecure. 9 months is a long time. There's a very good chance in that period of time of having World War III because we have somebody who is not respected. He's being laughed at and he's not doing a good job.
Oh my
So,
God.
wow.
More
Okay,
now we have Fox
going to
News for an
happen
information source. Oh,
9
it's all
months
going to
is a
happen
long
soon.
time. He's been saying all these things. You could have World War III during that time. So the whole idea is we don't want it to last 9 months. We want it to happen faster than that. It's going to happen soon. Changes are going to come quickly. We're going to turn this around. Now, this was another really crazy one about King Charles, February 5th.
More comms. There's no comms. This is nonsense from a Q-tard channel. All right. We're gonna play our musical guest that happens to be David Wilcock, and then I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very good. 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 I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. Cock, cock, cock. Wow. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Wilcock. 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 It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Woo! 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 Cock. 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 I'm David Wilcock.
Yes, he is. Oh, all right. Listen, we've made it almost an hour and 30 minutes. This has been like an hour and 25 minutes of Q-tard nonsense from Telegram. And you see, I'm surrounded by stupid. I don't know what else that I could possibly say. What we get in this stream so far is desperation from a man who's lived in a delusional fantasy world where he's someone important. Let's review. He claims that he's Edgar Casey reincarnated, which also makes him King David reincarnated. And David's coming back and is going to be the Messiah, the second coming of Jesus. But don't put him on a pedestal. He's just a messenger who happens to always be wrong. All of his prophetic nonsense is nonsense. There's no clear. I have a hard time believing that an angel would speak in 17 codes, right? Or that an angel would co-sign Q-tard nonsense from Telegram. But we're supposed to believe that that's exactly what's happening. And the Alliance, the fake government group made up by his grifter, fake Pete Peterson government insider scumbag that he still uses for a source. None of this makes any sense because it doesn't make any sense. So we, though, have made it to an hour and 28 minutes in, meaning we're about halfway through. And I'm going to throw in the towel for tonight, but I reserve the right to cover the other half. It just depends on what's going on this week. I have a different show planned for tomorrow night, so maybe the following evening we'll finish this up. I'd like to finish it for the week before I move on to other things. Sometimes I fail to cover the second half, and then people start sending me clips, and the second half is crazier than the first half. I haven't listened to this. I used to listen to these streams and make notes and then listen to them again with you. I can't stomach 6 hours of this idiot squabbling and, not squabbling, just pontificating what an incredible prophet he is and how his superpowers are real and he's predicting the future while All of his predictions are completely and totally false. And did you see that? He said in 2019 that the mass arrests had already begun. Did he forget that? Now he's just grifting off of the same fake story again? And how desperate do you have to be to use the same fake story that you've already used once and failed, and it turns out it was fake? Now you're just recycling fake shit that you've already used? And the fact that this dude did an hour and a half of, look at this Q-tard posting on Telegram, look at this Q-tard posting on, well, it's a lot of the same Q-tard idiots. And somebody asked me, like, like Q-tard nonsense is pretty much outlawed on YouTube and I think Twitter. I mean, I don't know. Most of the Q-tards that held on and didn't let go, realizing it was all a fake nonsense, are on Telegram, which is like the Wild West, you know? We want to thank Stormcrow with a kind and generous $5 Australian. Says, too bad they keep demonetizing you, Steve. It could be because of all the Q-tard nonsense. That could be why. But I went over and I checked on David Wilcock's stream, and it's still playing ads, which means that David Wilcock can be monetized pushing this complete and total utter garbage, fake information, disinformation, misinformation, Q-tard garbage. But if you make a stream critical of him making all this money doing that, you cannot be monetized, Stormcrow. But we thank you for helping to make up the difference. And we thank everybody sending a couple of super chats our way. I appreciate the kindness, generosity, and support from all of you very much. It is much, much appreciated. Thank you, Stormcrow, longtime show supporter, for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, so let me just check in here and make sure that I didn't miss any. No, I think we got them all. And we will check in with the PayPal pledgers. For those unaware, besides the super chats, you can also send a PayPal pledge. Just be sure if you send a PayPal to add a note and add your chat room user ID. We read every single one of those as well. And we want to thank Maria for a kind and generous $12.22. Strange choice, but I appreciate it. Who says, another wacky world of Wilcock. I hope you do the second half. Well, now I have to, because you gave me $12.22, Maria. But we thank you for your kindness. We thank you for your generosity and support. Longtime PayPal pledger, Maria, thank you.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, friends. So listen, I can't stand any more of this guy. We're gonna check out here. I can't believe that I used to actually watch all of this twice. Once to make notes. I'm just not going to do it. I'll do it off the cuff. Sometimes I have to look something up, like the Buck Rogers spaceship that he's claiming he designed. I mean, it's pretty similar. It's like a cross between Buck Rogers spaceship and the Batwing. Not very original. And look, if you actually look at that design, it doesn't even look like it would actually fly. Like the control surfaces on the back are backwards and other things like. And remember, his scammy aerospace company, their only income is from a garbage dump company that's renting their aircraft hangar to store garbage dumpsters in. They don't have any aircraft products. They don't have any aircraft services. They don't manufacture any aircraft parts even. They've never shown a working prototype. All they've shown is 3D printed what look like G.I. Joe toys to me. And again, just as we started our broadcast with tales of David Wilcock's shady, scammy business dealings of the past, he's been involved in all kinds of shady stuff, always collecting money. There's always this urgent need. Oh, you got to buy my stuff. That's why he's saying all this stuff is going to happen, because these stupid people watching him think that they're going to know more about what's happening if they give him the $333. He does this every time. He impresses false urgency to his nonsense that he's pushing and promoting. And I think that's to make people hurry up and give him the money before the deadlines come and nothing ever happens, because nothing that he talks about ever happens. We didn't get rainbow light bodies. The mass arrests never happened, even though he said that they happened in 2019. We didn't all ascend in the year 2012 and get superpowers. None of that happened. You know, like, if this guy's going to really claim that he's a prophet, he's the shittiest prophet I've ever seen. Everything that he predicts never happens. None of it. Now he's predicting before November, mass arrests again. And, you know, I guess if you look hard enough, like he could find 3 or 4 people arrested and just claim that was the start of it or something. But you would think mass arrests in previous tellings of this fake story, he said hundreds or thousands of deep state operatives would be arrested. So if none of this happens by November, we'll have another time to call BS on him. And I will not let anybody on the internet forget how many times that he has made completely and totally false predictions or has pushed completely and totally fake sources of information, including a court-martialed child molester, including a completely and totally fake science and technology advisor to Ronald Reagan, who never worked for Ronald Reagan, and more. It's absolutely ridiculous that this guy thinks that everybody just, you know, like he thinks everybody forgot about my last fake stories. I could just recycle the same fake story that didn't happen the first time that I was talking about it, like the mass arrests, but then I said they already happened. But no, now they're happening before the end of November. Like, well, was the angel wrong in 2019? Because that, again, means you fail the test of a prophet. You can't be a prophet if any of your information is ever wrong, David Wilcock. And all of your information is always wrong, David Wilcock. He is the world's worst psychic and the world's worst prophet. At least, listen, and I've said this before, in my study of people making paranormal claims, including people who claim that they have some gift of foresight or precognition is what it would usually be called, like in the comic books. If you see the future before it happens, you have the gift of precognition or prophecy. And I have encountered in my life some fake psychics that were very good. They were good cold readers. They were good at manufacturing false hits by using generalized statements and more. David Wilcock needs to get some books on magic and mentalism because he sucks at this. I've looked into hundreds of psychics since I really began being incredibly interested in that topic, which actually started, I don't know, I think I was 12 years old, and I've told this story before. I worked for a psychic storefront. I was getting paid to hand out flyers for this lady, and then I caught her giving the same psychic reading to every old lady that went in there with their $20 or $40 for a reading. She said the same generalized, so, oh, you're an honest person. Sometimes that honesty, you're so honest that it could get you in trouble sometimes, you know, ascribing positive values to people, generalized statements, and they'd all go, oh yeah, I'm an honest person. Anyway, I caught this fake psychic. I didn't know she was fake. I was a kid at the time. I think I was 10 or 11 years old when I got the job handing out flyers for her in the neighborhood. And then her son threatened me because I told everybody that she was fake and that she was giving the same scripted reading to every person that went in there. And then her son threatened me. Anyway, that's when I first got interested in psychics and realized that many of them were fake and started investigating them. And while I was a professional magician, I busted a great number of complete and total fraud, fake psychics and mediums. David Wilcock is no different, except that he is less skilled at being a fake psychic than anybody. I've looked into hundreds of fake psychics, investigated and busted a multitude of fake psychics. He's worse than any of them. Every other fake psychic I'd look into at least got some things right. Wilcock gets nothing right unless he brings out numerology and stupid coincidences and claims that's a psychic prediction. Like, oh, somebody posted a 39-second video of an airplane and my fake airplane from my fake shady aerospace company that scammed investors, according to court documents allegedly, and scammed all of our creditors out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, according to court documents allegedly. Ours is called the SM39. The Alliance is speaking to me. This is comms. This is communications from a goddamn Q-tard Telegram channel. It's so stupid. Now, Just imagine how stupid you have to be to give David Wilcock $333 for his latest batch of stupid, nonsensical ramblings. And again, the biblical test of a prophet proves that David Wilcock is not in communication with angels, because in the first book, the angel says that Corey Good's nonsense is accurate. Shortly after that, I think a week after he released that first book, Corey Good's depositions got leaked, in which he admitted he's never even been to space, and he made up a lot of those stories. Great. So the archangel was wrong about Corey Good's information being accurate? That means that David Wilcock is not in communication with an angel. It's called the test of a prophet. You can't be wrong even once, David. You've been wrong about everything. But it is what it is. I guess, it makes me sad that people are really this stupid. But I really do think that the gravy train days for this guy is over. Like, if we look on his social blade, he's not getting any new subscribers. At least I don't think so. Oh, wait, it's David Wilcock 333. Yeah, I mean, we can look at his. Oh, he got 2,000 subscribers in the past week. God damn! No matter how stupid you think people are, they're stupider even than that. Oh, but he lost 1,000. And yeah, I could share his social blade. Look at this. The guy's only getting look at this, 1,300 views in a day, 1,400 views in a day. Here he got 300 and is that 1,386 or 386? Looks like 386 views he got on Monday, February 26th. He only got 775 views this day. If he's Earth's greatest prophet and he's so important and all of his information is so accurate, why are we beating him on many days? Now, great, when he releases a new video, he gets a big shot of views, 10,000, 20,000. But look at this, man. And apparently he lost 1,000 views on the 28th of February, but then he got 1,000 and 1,000. But still, only 1,000 views or 1,000 new subscribers. And for all we know, he bought them. We've caught him using bots before to pretend he had more live viewers than he did. One time in David Wilcock's live chat, half or more of the live chat participants all went to like horny big jugs for you names, like porn bot names. And then suddenly, I guess the bot farm realized their mistake, and then they changed it back to other names that were like Crystal Girl 18 and, like appropriate bots for his channel. So I don't believe he's getting new subscribers, and his numbers are in the shitter. The days of Wilcock making millions of dollars, I think, are over. He done grifted too far. What are you going to do? He done grifted too far. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's interesting. Charlie Weiser sending me something about Ross Coulthart. We're gonna cover the UFO Cope Squad tomorrow. There's a lot to talk about. My God, since the crash of this Grush and Elizondo, the coping is ridiculous. These people are all still trying to do mental gymnastics to still believe they're lying scumbag heroes, right? Tell me something, really. Why are people that are supposed to be for transparency and disclosure all lying scumbag grifters that keep getting caught lying and scamming people, right? I mean, not all of them. I don't want to generalize too much, but most of them. And then, of course, there's Stephen Greer's latest grift. Did you know he's trying to sue or subpoena one of the Cousins brothers because they may have gotten some money and he wants that money? We'll cover that all tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here. I hope you will be as well. I'll take a few comments or questions from the live chat on the way out. Cal Polly says he whines about how his bed is old and he can't afford a new one. Yes, he whined. Again, apparently his bed is old and also his refrigerator, right? Cal says he begged really hard on the second half. You'll love it. Yeah, after saying in the beginning he's only going to do it once, then he does the hard sell over and over and over and over again. All right, maybe not tomorrow night. I need a break from this nonsense. But the next night, 9 p.m., we'll finish the second half. Kamala is like a Mrs. Obama with a distaste for people. If you say so. The Galactic Alliance cover-up. Yeah, sure. Yes, Hank McGurk says, I feel badly for the people that still believe it. Yes. Yes, he whines about how his bed is old. Oh, I'm sorry, we got that one. Yeah, so listen, we've done our due diligence. I'm going to bounce on out of here, friends. We'll be back tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. If you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you too will know when we're doing a live broadcast. You are most welcome. And welcome to all the new subscribers. We're still getting a steady influx of new subscribers. You know, I'm very pleased with the slow. It's really monotonous, though, this slow burn growth, you know, and I get it. Slow and steady wins the race, but I get impatient sometimes, especially when I see these grifter channels that just get hundreds of thousands of views selling people garbage. But I always have to remind myself that we're in a different category. We're not going where the path may lead. We're blazing our own trail. We're covering these strange and esoteric topics, but doing it ethically, morally, and honestly. And we don't lie to our audience. So if you're sick of these grifters, smash that subscribe button. Throw a couple bucks in our hat. Join our Patreon for $1. You don't get very much, honestly. I do a couple extra videos a week for you Patreon supporters. Or channel members, you get the same as the Patreon benefits, but you get a channel member badge and some other goodies. So we thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Unlike David Wilcock, who's getting hundreds, he's getting $100 super chats and not even reading them. We care about the support that we get here, and we are a viewer-supported show. It's due to the kindness, generosity, and support of viewers like you that we're able to keep doing this. So throw a couple bucks in our hat. If you're watching a replay, you can always hit that thanks button and throw a couple bucks in our hat as well. So what can I say, friends? We're halfway through the latest nonsense, and I got to hurry up because with my luck, he's going to do another stream in Sunday, and I'll be way behind, and we'll have to get caught up. And I can't do 3 David Wilcock bull sessions, hours-long nonsense sessions in a week, or I'll probably die. All right, so that's all I got for you. In closing, I would say that everybody should pray that David Wilcock just gives up the grift, because he's going to be working $150 small UFO conventions in, Rochester, New York before you know it, if he doesn't give up this grift and get a real job. But hey, what do I know? We're just somebody out here that actually provides truth, evidence, and value to our audience. Unlike David Wilcock, who provides bullshit, fake information, false information, misinformation, and Q-tard nonsense Telegram posts that anybody can go on Telegram and get that nonsense if you're into that. But it is what it is, friends. So that's all I got for you, friends. Until next time, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you.